Hey, what's up, everybody? That's right. Tom Holman's telling Ilhan he's coming to get her. He's coming to get her. What's up, everybody? And then I have a quick reaction video of Trump and Rubio after they saw Holman pointing and tackling her. What's up, Jay Schwartz? Great to see you. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. I decided to take Saturday night off just because, every once in a while you got to take a night off. What's up, Lisa? Loved it. Thanks. Great to have you here. Jay Marco's here. What's up? Good to see you. Jonathan's here too. What's up? Brian's here. Says Jeep is dead. Spent $25,000 on a Nissan hate CVT transmission, but the new transmissions. Regina Reynolds, what's up? Good evening. Hey, great to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Please remember to hit the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Please, Jim, tell us. We will. What's up? How you doing, Sherry Gatlin? How you doing? Great to see you. Muffin Rando's here too. What's up, Muffin? How you doing? And then we have the first donation of the evening from Brian Ogden towards my swear jar. Well, thank you so much, Brian. That means right now, folks, I did set up the goal already on YouTube. That means we are now $95 away from adding a first additional hour and $45 away from Bellavision. That's right. The way it works, everybody, is the show could be as long as you want it to be. It could be in 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, because the way the show works is the show goes about 2 hours long and two and a half, somewhere around there. Plus, we hit the goal, which is $100 across all platforms, YouTube Super Chats, Rumble Rants, becoming a member or gifting memberships on YouTube, Rumble, Kicker, Twitch, Locals Coins, Cash App, PayPal, Coffee, Ko-Fi, or Super Tips. We add it all up, and when we hit 100, we add an additional hour to the show, and then for each additional 100 that comes in, we add an additional hour to the show. Another additional hour to the show. So it could be as long as you want. And then, and then when we hit 50, we activate Bellavision. As you can see, Bella's getting ready. She's resting up for her when she gets her call to the main stage. Unless somebody's so generous that they donate $25 or greater, 20 or 25, something like that. And then we activate it automatically. HJ Remy's here. What's up? Good to see you. Nixie Nix is here. Hello. CF Rob's here. Hey, what's up? Awesome. Mm-hmm. Awesome to see everybody. Yeah. So let's do this. Let's do this, and then I'll show you. This is what happened when Trump and Rubio saw the thing from Ilhan Omar. Yeah, that's what happened when Trump and Marco, once they heard Tom Homan tackled Ilhan Omar. Yes, that was fun. So let's do this, folks. Let's get right into the first news story of the evening. Hank, great to see you. America First, awesome to see you here, buddy. Jason, what's up? Jim, hope you had a great weekend. Well, I try. U.S. conducts additional military strikes against Iran. That's right. because I guess we struck Iran on Friday and then or Thursday, Friday, and then Iran decided to shoot some more stuff and some more boats. So now we're hitting Iran again. So this is like a Schrodinger ceasefire. It's only a ceasefire when people are paying attention or something, looking at it. Something. Oh, Brian comes in with 20, says, okay, Ballot is free. Well, thank you, Brian. Thank you so much for that. That means, folks, we are now just $75 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. And that's it. That is it. Just 75 away. That's the story. Yes, we got Bellavision. Mm-hmm. Yummy, yummy. How's the sound? Everything good? Do you think opening up additional channels in the Strait will reduce Iran's control? I don't know, because it seems like Iran wants to be in control of the channels, and if anybody else is if anybody else is doing anything, that's where they're having problems, and they don't like that. So I think that's part of the issue. So hey, Jerry's here. What's up, Jerry? How you doing? Brian is the man. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. What's up, Jean Lee? We love you, Bella. Yes. Everything sounds good. All right, good. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Hey, wow, life is rough. Good to see you again. Now, life is rough. When you say the AI stuff, are you talking about the intro to the 2-minute long intro that just gets going? That runs at the beginning of the show? Or are you talking about these AI videos like that, like a Trump and stuff? Which ones are you talking about? So the U.S. military on Saturday conducted additional strikes against multiple targets in Iran. The U.S. launched an additional round of strikes after Iran attacked another ship in the Strait of Hormuz on Saturday. The intro? Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the intro is like, I got to do something. That's the thing. I have to do something to let people come in and give me time to make sure everything's running and check everything. I can't just start because there's stuff that has to happen. You got to the only other thing would be like some people put like a countdown counter. I mean, I guess I could do like a 2-minute countdown, but I thought seeing things would be a little, I don't know. Hey, Renee, great to see you. Doc's here too. What's up, Doc? Awesome. Hey, what's up, DK Spiracy? How you doing? Oh, good to see you too. That's awesome. We love you too, Jim. Oh, I just want you faster on replay. It should only be like 2 minutes. You can just fast forward it through there, no problem. I could. It's like I know maybe I should clip it out on. I guess I could clip it out on after the live. I could probably clip that out. Maybe I'll look into doing that, clipping that out on the live. That way it doesn't go like on the. Oh, we love you too, Brian. Thank you. Each show must include the show topics. Oh, you mean do a different one for each show? That's like a lot. I don't know if that's a lot of work to do a different intro for each show. That's a lot of work. It takes several hours in the intro. I know what you're saying. Have an intro with the show topics. It's just like that. It takes hours to make one of those. So CENTCOM says that forces conducted additional strikes against multiple targets in Iran on June 27th. No, that's a bad idea. After yesterday's U.S. strikes in response to the Iranian attack on MV Ever Lovely, isn't she lovely? Iran was given a chance to honor the ceasefire agreement, but elected not to when its forces launched another attack drone against MT Kiku this morning. Spending hours each show. I mean, I spend like 2 to 3 hours getting my show prep all done for each day for show. But to make the video, like to actually make a video like that 2-minute video took me 8 hours to make. Because I had to piece it together. I had to splice different things together and put things in to do different stuff that I want to do. That's not like That's not made out of AI. That's actually made with me using like CapCut features to take things and spin it and pulse it and do different stuff and overlays. Like, oh, well, thank you, Lynn. Thank you so much. So the Panama flag tanker was transiting near the Strait of Hormuz with more than 2 million barrels of crude. Uh, just I could just be standing there in his cape and red pants over the background. I guess. Yes. Maybe leap a tall building or two. Handcrafted with love. Oh, tell the AI to be an announcer for the show with all the topics. You're still thinking about 5 a.m.? Well, get some sleep, buddy. You can always watch it tomorrow after you get home from work or something, I guess. I don't know. So, CENTCOM forces launched strikes in response to continued aggression from Iran. Military aircraft targeted surveillance infrastructure in Iran, communication systems, air defense sites, drone storage facilities, and mine layer capabilities. Have Bella as Superdog. No, I think I don't think he was saying you did anything. I think he was saying your idea that he loves the idea of me making a new thing for each show. So, commercial vessels transiting the strait continue, and U.S. forces remain vigilant. Let's see, oil prices are still holding steady around $70. They need to get down lower though. They need to be around 60 for gas prices to get around $2, 220. So let's see what happens. So 70, 11. So it was 69.48 there. So hey, Diamond G, great to see you. Thanks for stopping by. So this says on Thursday, Iranian drones attacked a Singapore flagship exiting the strait. Early Friday, they said it was foolish and we're going to have to respond. The Islamic Republic shot at least 4 one-way attack drones. So here I got some video. Why do I hear no sound? What is going on? Why do I not hear sound? Oh. I guess there's no sound on this video. So is this U.S. military strikes drone storage facility? No sound. Man, I thought we had better cameras of this. Oh. Oh, okay. Hold on. That's not a bad idea. Hold on. Just listing what the different topics we're going to cover right as we begin, maybe like Robert Gavea says, what topics we're going to cover. They're all in the description. I have everything listed. If you go to the description of the video, it says in order what's going to be covered. And then like there's like 4 topics, which I figure I can get through every 30 minutes. I can get through a topic in 30 minutes. So I cover 4 in the 2 hours. And then I have a list of bonus topics. I mean, I have so many topics to cover. It's just I don't, like it's also in the title says like it says U.S. strikes Iran again, Trump war on communists, and then whatever the other one I don't remember. So, but thank you. And but look at this, another 5. Brian Ogden, thank you so much, Brian. That means now with that we're now just 70 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you. Thank you to my generous benefactor, Brian. Do you see the naked people walking the Pride Parade? It's disgusting. Oh, I did. It was super disgusting, super duper disgusting. You got to be you got to be super careful too with these videos and stuff to show them because of the nudity and stuff. It's very like I saw this old man with like his dong just hanging there and like a tassel on it with a mask on. One of our subs sunk an Iranian ship, so all the other Iranian ships headed for safe ports. Really? So you heard? I didn't think they had any more ships, Hank. Oh, thank you. I didn't think they had any more ships. I thought 37 out of 180 crew survived. Really? Hank, does anyone have a, let's say, A lot of Iran trash talk as they head back to the locker room. Okay. In Minnesota, we peaked at 453 today. Out from the cities, I saw 339. Getting there, I hope. Okay. Jerry says, I think they should distribute some of that fraud money they found with Elon to all the drivers, especially Californians, or just pull it out of their asses like they do for wars and give us some. It's not a bad idea that they should do something. Like, I know they did suspend, I believe they suspended the federal gas tax for a while. The problem in California is California's tax. There's like $3 or something, $3.50 a gallon in tax in California. Something insane. It's like an insane amount of tax in California on the gas. I'm wondering how the large ships are getting moved for repairs out of harm's way. It used to be against the law. What the hell? Yeah, it should be against the law. But what they did is they changed it, and they said, well, no, it's only against the law if you're doing it for like sexual gratification or something like that. So somehow they got to get into your mind, which is not you can't get in someone's mind to say why they did it. America First says, I do applaud Brian for supporting Jim. Obviously, he can afford to do so, and I appreciate it. Well, I do too. You wore a mask so no one would recognize you. Oh, Joe says, trying to catch up, didn't get notified 10 minutes out. Oh, my God. I can't believe that. I set this stream up like 4 hours ago. They had one in India showing off, and then we sunk it in international waters. So I remember that with 2 Mark 48s. No, I knew that. I do remember that. That was months ago, though. That was like right when the war started. Has anyone added up to 4 billion here, 8 billion there? No, but they need to start doing that. Hey, Lurch, great to see you. Thanks. That's right. Tap that like button. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. So, no notification for you either? Fucking YouTube. Sorry. I shouldn't swear so much. Damn you, YouTube. Damn you, YouTube. What would you do, Jim, to break the illusion that Iran controls the strait? Should there be strikes? Everything a drone is shot? Well, here's the thing. They shouldn't have any capability to shoot any more drones. They shouldn't have any more radar stations. They shouldn't have any more missile launchers. They shouldn't have any type of military to project any of this power. That's what should happen. They should not have the ability to do this. That's the problem. What's up, Catherine K? How you doing? Great to see you. Hello, Jim, in the chat. I always hit that like button. I don't understand why it's so hard. I don't know. You did get a notification. Well, that's awesome. I appreciate it. I appreciate when people get the notification. It really helps. It does. It helps. You got to make sure you click on it, too, that you have that thing that says, like, hit the bells and stuff like that. That's how it works. And then, Oh, and I'm going to let this slide for a second just because to address this. Greg says, in other words, Trump's war against Iran, his failed. I won't say it's not over yet, buddy. That's the thing. It ain't over until it's over. And so far, they're getting their ass handed to them is what it seems like. So maybe you don't take your foot off their neck until they yell uncle. PB Max says, UI should get some monetary compensation for protecting the straits for all these, the U.S., okay, for all these foreign flag ships. You would think they would get something. Yeah, that was March 4th, 2026, yes. Damn swear jar. Well, thank you. I'll put that in there for myself. Thank you so much. And that means, folks, we are now just $65 away. Thank you so much. So, yeah. Saying stuff like this, Trump's getting his ass handed to him. That's just not, that hasn't happened. So I don't know. You can, if you want to say things that are factual and stuff, I'll let you stay. If you start saying things that are just ridiculous and spam bullshit, then I'm going to time you out. So that's your choice. You want to be here? Great. You want to participate? Awesome. Otherwise, they They still have drones and missiles, thus we know our military didn't have the capability or plan to accomplish total destruction. Well, that's a problem. We should have. I was told we were gonna update. Uh, what's it say? Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Gundam. Mm. U.S. strikes Iran as tit for tat attacks reignite. Trump warns he may complete the job. I see. Yes, I want to finish Iran as much as possible. That's what I'm saying. You know, that's what I'm saying. As long as they shouldn't have this ability. As long as Greg is not insulting or attacking, we should do our best to tolerate. Well, that's what I'm saying. As long as he doesn't start with his crazy talk, then it's fine. If he wants to say things that are topical and not spammy, I mean, the job should be completed. The job should be completed. You know what I'm saying? You don't. That's the thing is, I'm not a do things half-ass type of a person. Well, he says not one of Trump's objectives for going to war against Iran has been met. They're no longer spinning centrifuges, are they? They're not enriching uranium at this moment, are they? That's stopped. Do they have an active nuclear program at this time? No. So there's that. If we have Navy there, we can just shoot the drones before they hit the targets. We can, but everyone's, some are gonna sneak through. You're gonna get like 90, 95% of them, but I am getting sick of the people like hated Cruz asking for money. What has he done? Nothing. He let all those people in through the border and let them spend 8 trillion. I'm done until they pass the SAVE Act. Well, the SAVE Act is one of Ted Cruz. Okay, yeah, I know Ted Cruz. Yeah, I the SAVE Act, man. Mhm. Doc says, funny, Israel still has power and water. I was told that would be the first thing to go if we attacked Iran again. Yeah. Mm. You have no confidence in our military planners. I thought that these guys are supposed, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, finish it once and for all. That's what I'm saying. I'm all for like just pulling out all the stops, man. I mean, I'm in favor of anything just short of seeing mushroom clouds. But so forces carried out another strike. Yesterday's strikes were in response. They launched strikes today, direct response. So Britain's maritime agency said a tanker sustained damage to its bridge and their crew were all reported safely. I didn't know Ted Cruz was in charge of the border. He's not in charge of the border, but there's stuff they could have did. Let's be clear. There's stuff that the Republicans could have did in Congress. They should have basically stopped anything. Like they could have stopped anything from coming. They could have stopped anything from passing. They could have held everything up. They could have filibustered everything. They could have blocked all appointments. I mean, look what's happening now to Trump right now. And this is a Republican Senate. And the Democrats are blocking everything. So how is it, you know what I'm saying, that when the Republicans were in charge under Biden, they couldn't block all of Biden's shit. If you sit on the sidelines, it sucks. Tom Bravo, what's up? Finishing the job would take at least 100,000 troops and likely a lot of casualties. Well, hey, what's up, 0 Cents MP? How you doing? Great to see you. Thanks for stopping by. So we struck Iranian missile and drone storage locations, coastal radar sites. Like that's the thing is, I don't know how do they have. This is not an attack on Trump or the administration, but how do they have any radar sites left at this point? There shouldn't be any. There should be no radar installations left operating. You're not too enthused with mushrooming my friends in Iran. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm, you know, I'm just short of that. Like that's saying like, don't do that, but pretty much anything else besides that. Like if you have to carpet bomb some things, then you have to carpet bomb some things. Trump is the one working. The Senate's worthless. Look what these people did during Biden. That's what I'm saying. But what's the choice? Not electing Democrat, letting Democrats get elected, so it's even worse. I don't know. So Trump says it's very possible they will never learn. There may come a point where we're no longer able to be reasonable and we're forced the military to complete the job that we successfully started. They can't leave them without some defense. I don't know. I mean, defense from what? Nobody else is threatening them. Nobody else is threatening them. No, they're not going to be attacked by anybody else. They don't have Iraq is not their enemy. Like if they were, that's the thing. That's why that not completely defenseless. Yeah. That's why we didn't do more to them in Operation Praying Mantis. That's why they were like proportional Operation Praying Mantis when we took out half their Navy and some other stuff. And because we didn't want to make it so that Iraq could just roll over them. But there's nothing in that region. Nobody going to attack them. There's nobody that's going to attack them. Now, if they might have an issue because of, all the shit they cause all over the place, like their proxies might cause them an issue. Yes, F Iran. That's what I'm saying. I don't like them. So they reached another video, huh? Oh, there's that something blowing up there. Yeah, they killed 30,000 of their own people, protesters. Yeah, that's why I don't any of the people in charge, anybody in their government or military should be on a list. See my Tillis link above. I got it. Bury them in the caves along with the uranium they want so bad. Yeah. So Trump said Friday, Iran fired 4 drones. We saw that. Iran signed a ceasefire. We've honored it. If they have disagreements about how the MOU is being applied, they can pick up the phone, but violence will be met with violence. There you go. That's what I want to hear. Now Iran has agreed to halt strikes and meet in Doha, Qatar this week. So they want to meet in Qatar. They want to meet in Qatari Larry land. Oh, wait. Well, before we do that, we got a video here. I think this is a video of Trump saying something about it. So let's see.
At these strikes in the Oval Office on Friday, even seemingly cutting a Q&A short in the Oval Office. We know that a short time later, U.S. Central Command carried out this response to Iran's attack in the Strait of Hormuz. The president also touched on the war in Iran in his speech to a meeting of the Faith and Freedom Coalition here in D.C. on Friday. And that's where he said Iran still has a fight in them.
We still have a fight. They have some capability, not much. They're not winning or anything, but they have some capability. They can still shoot. They shot a drone yesterday at a big ship going into the Hormuz Strait. They shot 4 of them. We knocked down 3 of them. One of them, I guess we didn't miss it. Nobody saw it coming, and it hit a ship.
It's unclear what impact this will have on the latest negotiations between the U.S. and Iran. We do know that an agreement was reached between Israel and Lebanon, mediated by the U.S. on Friday, and that could have an impact on U.S. and Iran's negotiations in the future. Kelly Meyer at the White House, News Nation.
News Nation. All right. So they're going to meet. It says they're going to meet in Doha, Qatar. U.S. and Iran have reportedly agreed to halt attacks and hold talks in Qatar. But see, this is like, I hate to say this is like a pattern with Iran, and it happens all the time. Is they pull shit, and then they go, they want to talk, and then you think you get an agreement with them, and then they pull more shit, and then they say they want to talk. This is nonstop with Iran. Hey, Sylvia with 5. Thank you so much, Sylvia. Oh, that's awesome. That means we're now just 60 away, folks. 60 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you, everybody. Everybody. Thank you so much. Everybody. Jerry says women get tortured and killed for not obeying and wearing what they are told. That's right. That's right. They get lashes. I think they get blind. Like I've heard of them getting blinded, like stick things in their eyes and stuff like that. Who let all the Muslims into this country? That's a good question. It's a good question. Yeah, we're going to talk about some of that stuff, or some of that stuff coming up about, maybe we'll get to it about, John Kasich, all these rhino Republicans, and the Mike DeWine, basically all these people complaining, saying we can't kick all these Haitians out. If these Haitians are so great, won't they be able to make Haiti a better place? I mean, if all the people that are good and smart and talented get sucked out of a country, the country has no chance to succeed or get better. We have to stop this. We have to let these people, if they're so great, let them go home and make their countries great. That's the way I look at it. The Persian Iranian people had Islam forced on them. That's right. That is right. You want to be friends with those that wish death to America, go there. That's right. Go there. Go hang out with them. The military has been one step behind since the days of Billy Mitchell. The biggest thing is we knock down everything. They are cockroaches. Absolutely a pattern. Just blow them up. North Korea playbook, just with more cowbell. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, human shield BS won't shave them. Yeah. And we need to figure out how to arm the Persians. They're more eager to clean house, and we can empower them. Also, screw the Kurds. The Kurds might have screwed up because that's gonna stick in people's craws for a while that they stole the guns that we're trying to send into Iran for the Persians. We have to get the Anti-Communism Act out of the dusty closet and pimp it up and use it. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Sheik al-Biden did it. If they do not want to die with their oppressors, get the hell out. The Persian Iranian people had Islam forced on them when the RGC took over in 1979. Unfortunately, the people at the time thought the Shah was wrong for them, and they shut their own commerce. Yeah, that's what happened. It was basically all these weirdo liberals and stuff like that, leftists, who thought that the Shah and governments like the British government, the U.S. government under Peanut Head Carter, thought that the Ayatollah was going to be easier to deal with than the Shah when it came to oil. Hey, look at this. We got a 5 from Jerry Sanders. Thank you so much, Jerry. With that means, folks, we're now just $55 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you. Thank you so much. I thought we won the stuff with Iran the first week. Isn't that what Trump said? Yeah, he's made some statements that we won and that all the stuff, but I don't know. I don't know what information he's getting. I don't know what he's talking about in particular. I mean, if you look at what's been damaged, what's happened, clearly Iran isn't winning. So that's why I don't understand how they're not winning. How are they winning? They're not winning. If they are helping to make this country greater, then they have no business being here. They need to go. Yeah, if they aren't, that's right. That caused the Shah to leave. The IRGC took over. That's right. If Iran had missiles that could reach the U.S. with nuclear warheads, they would launch it. None of those oppressed Iranians would stop it. More than likely, that's true. Yeah, so never try to divide U.S. Americans with that BS. I don't. Here's the thing: is I would never put America's interests, America's safety, behind any foreign person's safety, any foreign country. That's the thing. It has to be America first. What helps America first? As long as it doesn't hurt America, you say this helps America or hurts America. If it's ambivalent, if it doesn't hurt America, if it doesn't help America, then maybe we can help people. But it does help America to have Iran not controlled by crazy psychos. Just saying. There's a reason why Persians, Iranians here were celebrating when the leader who killed all the protesters got bombed. Yeah. 10 years from now, we'll start getting the truth about the things that are happening now. If we're lucky. We decided to stop all kinetic activity, a U.S. official said. Talks are scheduled for Tuesday to address the disagreements over the Strait. Iran struck vessels on Friday and Saturday after a disagreement over Iran charging transit fees. Yes. Nobody wants these people in their countries. I'll be back. Oh, okay. Thank you. I'll be back. JD Vance participates. This is the thing. If they're going to try to charge transit fees, it's not happening. That cannot happen. No. They're going to charge. That's basically extortion. Oh, we're going to charge you so we don't blow you up, shoot missiles and shit at you. No, then they need to just be clipped. Like their wings need to be clipped, as they say. Oh, look at this. Heavenly birthday to my brother Eddie, who would be 54 today. Love you and miss you, baby bro. Oh my God. Oh, rest in peace, Eddie. Wow, 54. That's young, man. That's young. Wow. I don't want to dig too much into it, Joe. Personal shit like that, like whatever circumstances are. That's sad. Prayers to Joe and his family, and happy heavenly birthday to his brother Eddie. Thank you. 5. Means we're 50 away, folks. Just 50 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. You lost him at 47? Oh, man. Wow. That's rough. That's young. That's way too young. Way too young to go, man. Hey, Mike. How you doing? Michael Stetson, great to see you. What the United States has been doing is doing things to undermine us for the benefit of other nations. That needs to end. Yes, I totally agree. We should not be doing things that are bad for America that helps other countries. Like I said, if it's like ambivalent, if it's like, it's not going to really hurt us, it's not going to help us, then why are we doing it? Just for shits and giggles? If it's going to hurt us, we definitely shouldn't be doing it. What's the conversation with Iran going to be like? Who knows, really? I mean, I don't know who even knows if the people you're talking to are ones who can make decisions or everything. No, thank Joe. Always Joe. No, thank you for being here, man. And prayers for your family at this. It's got it rough, stuff like this every time you're. I don't think they'll even talk. Probably not. When this stuff happens, and it's like a thing, and every year it's rough to go through, man. It's rough. So JD Vance participated in the first rounds of talks last week, where he announced good progress was made. Iran later denied agreeing to the term that they're not going to rebuild the nuclear program. So if they're saying that they're not agreeing to not rebuild their nuclear program, then maybe, just maybe, they're not ready to give up. America has let people in that don't like America. They work from inside the U.S. to destroy us. Yes. I don't think the IRGC is part of the talks. Yeah, I don't think so either. Because technically the IRGC, if I'm not mistaken, we consider them to be terrorists. So we couldn't talk to them. Iran's leadership will continue to FA until the graph reaches FO tipping point. I foresee some sort of decapitation strikes in the near future if they don't negotiate in good faith. Yeah. I mean, Trump did tell them guys, hey, you guys fuck around. You're not even going to make it back to your country. You won't even make it back to your country. We'll shoot the fucking plane down. Which, that's borderline. I mean, honestly, this is my shooting down a diplomat's plane would be borderline. That's like borderline stuff there. Newscomb. Oh, yeah. Iran's waiting for Newscomb to get in to let the good times roll. Yeah, I don't know. Navy and Air Force fighter jets conducted strikes on 10 Iranian targets. Just 10? It should be on every target. We should be hitting every target. There should not be any more targets. We should be like, oh, we're out of targets. We can't really do any more strikes because we're out of targets. Some are electing people that hate the USA that should not be able to take the oath of office. You would think, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of crazy shit going on with these communists, basically. Fucking communists.
Never zero your optic again.
What?
Yeah, because
I think we saw all these. So strikes. Yeah, strikes. More on Fox from rising tensions between Hezbollah and Israel. So Iran responded by firing missiles and drones at Bahrain and Kuwait overnight.
Now back to one of today's top stories. U.S. strikes on Iran after Tehran continues to target shipping in the Strait of Hormuz and our U.S. allies and our bases, frankly, in the region. Fox News chief foreign correspondent Trey Yingst joins us from Tel Aviv. Hello, Trey.
Shannon, good morning. The ceasefire between the United States and Iran is being tested as Iran attacks vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. military overnight launched a new round of strikes against IRGC targets after they went after an oil tanker near the strait. Now, according to CENTCOM, U.S. military aircraft targeted Iranian military surveillance infrastructure, communication systems, air defense sites, drone storage facilities, and mine layer capabilities. The president posted to True Social shortly after the strike, saying, in part, United States aircraft just struck Iranian missile and drone storage locations and coastal radar sites for violating the ceasefire agreement again. In response, Iran launched missiles and drones toward Kuwait and Bahrain. This was the second exchange of fire this weekend between the United States and Iran. The new military activity comes as the situation between Israel and Hezbollah plays out on a separate but parallel track. The Israelis launched new strikes against Hezbollah this weekend as Hezbollah continued attacks against Israeli forces in southern Lebanon, killing at least one soldier. Late last week, there was a diplomatic breakthrough in Washington as the Israelis and Lebanese signed a framework agreement aimed at normalizing ties between the two countries and disarming Hezbollah.
This is a massive blow to Iran and Hezbollah. Iran tried to force a withdrawal from South Lebanon upon us. You heard these demands.
And today, Iranian officials are threatening to withhold their delegation from the technical talks that are scheduled with the United States over those strikes that took place last night. Shannon?
Yeah, very delicate. Okay, Trey Yanks, thank you very much. We appreciate
All right, so there's that. And I want to address something right here. Jim getting all involved makes it better. Once his channel gets bigger, he won't be able to, but it's good to know that he wants to. Well, actually, what I'm going to do is the channel gets bigger. I've already got it figured out. I'm going to slow the chat down. I can put the chat down so that, if it gets to the point, I'll be able to slow it down so that people can only comment every like 10 seconds or 15 seconds. That way I'll still be able to participate. I could slow it down so that way I can still participate as much as possible. Just people won't be able to chat as often. You'll have to wait like 10, 20, 30 seconds to say something. That way I can have time to keep track of it still. I think I can do that. I think the technology is there. Maybe. Does Israel recognizes Armenian genocide? Oh, rebukes Turkey. Turkey's not going to like that. Turkey is not going to like that. Erdogan is going to be pissy. I do my best. I do my best to participate with the chat as much as possible. Just to try as best I can. And hopefully, hopefully everything is good and everyone will be happy. So if that happens, the Islamic Republic will no longer exist, Trump said. They may come to a point where they're no longer able to be reasonable. Well, Trump says they won't exist. Well, I guess that's a way to put it. So, and then Trump has declared war on the godless communists. I won't hold it against you. Even in slow mode, it may not be possible, but I see you're moving into 2700. It's moving. I mean, that thing, like, honestly, I probably would miss some here and there, but I'll be able to do it. Just, it ain't going to be as, like, where I can get everyone. It'll just be some will get missed. And I'll do the best I can. Do the best I can. Yeah, we built up Turkey's defenses all the way through the 20th century. Yeah. After the midterms, if there's no progress, he may go full Bill Clinton. Who? Trump? Finally, and yes, they are godless. President Trump used a speech at the Faith and Freedom Coalition on Friday to put the country on notice. He's treating the rise of the man-dummy-aligned commies in New York as proof that the communist movement has taken root in the Demon Rat Party. Because it has. It's taken root. Need to be pulled out, root and stem. Root and stem. The speech delivered through a room full of conservative Christians, religious conservatives, I don't know, is a direct warning about the ideological direction of the American left at home. Trump didn't hedge about how serious he views this threat. Everybody should be serious. They're fucking out in the open now. So he tied the warning to America's 250th anniversary. It's the most serious threat to our country since its existence. Lamenting that celebrating the nation's founding and its religious roots, the country is once again fighting for its foundations. He argued against the communist movements have always targeted faith and Christianity specifically as an obstacle to their ideology. Look, you guys are like, just look back, all right, when there was the Spanish Revolution, what was it called? Spanish Civil War? Yeah, Spanish Civil War, right prior to World War II. The communists were killing all the Christians. And so that's why the fascists end up winning. They intend to keep pushing until we stop them. You got the Liberty $50. Awesome. They are godless and they're allowed per their religion to swear to lie, and we need something to enforce the oath. You're tired of Hormuz? Me too. I prefer like a chocolate whipped noose. Trump pointed to military action overseas as evidence of his administration's commitment to defending the persecuted Christians, like citing recent strikes in Nigeria. We recently struck Nigeria and largely ended the slaughter of the great Christian populations. I mean, there's Christians being persecuted all over. There's fucking Christians being persecuted in Great Britain, in the UK. Christian preachers are being arrested because them talking about the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, offends some other people. They find it offensive to their religion. So you cannot practice your religion in England if your religion offends another religion. What? Yes, Iran did choose this. They did. They did when they said, we've got enough stuff to make 11 bombs. They're like, oh, okay, it's on, like Donkey Kong. What the Democrats have been doing is using the so-called democracy as a weapon against our republic. Yeah, they always have. He also warned that the same forces threatening Christians abroad are working to import their model into the U.S., framing the fight as existential for religious freedoms at home. They will choose your churches in this country. They will close your churches. They will want to end religion.
This is the most serious threat to our country since its existence, in my opinion, 250 years ago. This is a major threat to our country. It isn't something that's easily solved, but with a little love and help, some hard work, because it's ironic, we're celebrating a very important birthday, our most important birthday so far, 250 years. And instead of speaking about Christ, and instead of speaking about freedom and victories of all different kinds, we're speaking about yet another threat to the foundations of America. These ruthless communists will attack all religions, but in particular Christianity. They always do. They're after Christianity more than any other religion. It seems to be more and more throughout the world, maybe because we're doing so well. I don't know. Maybe if we weren't doing well. But you see the numbers, how they're growing, how the churches are filling up. It's a beautiful thing to see. I mean, look, it happens to be during my presidency, so I don't mind taking credit for it. I'm very proud. But a lot of great things are happening. All communist countries attack religions violently. It's part of their deal. As you know, we recently struck Nigeria and largely ended the slaughter of great Christian populations. They have a great Christian population. They were being butchered. Thousands and thousands of people were being killed. Children, women, old people, just being slaughtered, hatched to death. They know that if they go further, the attack will be far greater, and that they don't want to really get involved anymore so much. You know, we hit them very hard. We knocked out their leader. We knocked out their second leader and their third leader. Sounds a little bit like Iran, actually. That's all about a different cause that we have to do, because we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. Can't let it happen. So I'm saving Christians throughout the world, even though we are not in those various countries where you read about this. But they'd like to make our country just like those countries. That's where they started. They started right where we are right now. But I'm saving them by hitting these terrorists very violently and very hard. We're hitting them very hard by the greatest weapons on earth, taking them out. We know where they are. We hunt them down and we take them out. Think of it. They go into a village and they just kill everybody. It's like crazy. They will close your churches in this country, they go communist, and they're trying to. They will kill your people, and that's what they're about. They want to end religion. They have to end religion because their ideology doesn't work. If you have strong religion, people like you that are so incredible and love our country so much and love God. This is the greatest threat to our country since its founding, in my opinion, 250 years ago, what's happening right now.
It's crazy, right? And that's why we have to do something about the communists. We really do, because it's spreading, all right? And it has to stop, because I could show you right here. Police told this happened in the United States, Fort Worth, Texas. Police told a street preacher at the All Ages Pride event that they could be cited if someone was offended by their speech. Asked if calling a transgender woman sir was citable, the officer said it's a gray area. This is the United States of America. We have the First Amendment that protects religious expression and protects your right to speak freely. Yet you're going to get told that the fucking police in Fort Worth, Texas, telling a street preacher that if someone gets offended by him talking about God, they're going to arrest him and cite him.
But no, I want to ask, and I'm being dead serious. So if a biological male comes up to me who says he's a woman, I call him, I say sir, and he gets offended, is that a citable offense? If I call a biological male a male, and he says I'm offended, I'm gonna whatever. Is that a citable offense if he's offended by that speech?
Man, we're talking gray area right now. When I talked about earlier, when it says that's a vague conversation, vague charge.
I'm genuinely curious.
Sure, I don't believe I would cite that for offensive language. Offensive language to me is calling somebody
N-word,
curse words.
We don't curse, we're preachers.
Sure, no, I agree. But it's more like you call somebody a male. I don't necessarily find that offensive unless they come up.
You don't, but what if they do?
That's what I'm saying. If they come up and say, hey, I'm offended by that, and you continue to do that, well, then that just becomes offensive to them.
And here's the catch.
So it's the, hey, warning, I'm feeling offended by that. Then we're moving into the potential.
But so what if I'm offended by what they say? Like they come up telling me this and then the other swearing at me, will they get cited?
Are you offended by it?
I'm offended by all of this.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
I'm offended by seeing half-naked men running around with children. I am deeply offended by that.
Right. Unfortunately, there's not much on our side to do anything about it.
Not much on our side we can do anything about that, but if you say something that these people don't like, we're going to arrest you. What the fuck is going on? What is going on? Yes. So Trump could send FBI in Dallas just like Biden did to Louisville. That's what should happen at this point. That's what happened. Yeah, paging Harmeet Dillon. Yeah, where is Harmeet Dillon? We're up against people who do anything necessary to achieve their objectives. If we stand in their way, they will eliminate us. They want us eliminated. Yes. There's two links. There are two links about the UK warning for what's coming here. No, I know. I got them. I'm going to show them in a few minutes here. Yeah, they do not pledge allegiance to the United States. That's for sure. No. You have no right to not be offended. Speech that's not offensive doesn't need to be defended. That's right. That's right. I saw a clip today of this gay Muslim woman wanted to have a ceremony in a mosque. It was enlightening, considering the gay Muslim coalition. Yeah. Civil war vibes. The violence is already there. Yeah, in the UK, it is. It is. So. Yeah, and so Trump goes on further to say these are not social democrats; these are hardcore godless communists. They're godless communists. If they fought them the way they fight the Republicans or the way they fight me, they'd be victorious against the communists. Because he's saying that these demon rats, like the demon rats, don't they just want power. They don't care. They'll use anybody. They use BLM. They've used all these groups. They'll use them. They use the gays. They don't really like the gays or any of this stuff. They don't like any. They're all about power. So, yeah, where's the governor, the mayor, the police chief? Be very interesting, right? Because Texas is supposedly it's Texas. Yeah, hate speech is free speech that the libtards hate. Yeah, it's true. I will never understand how indecent exposure is all of a sudden legal during this month. It's crazy, isn't it? That's what I say. Their claim is that somehow they have to get into the mind of the person that's getting naked. And as long as they're not getting naked for sexual gratification, walking up to children and flinging their stuff in their face. They say, oh, that's not for sexual gratification. How are you in somebody's mind? Nobody's a fucking mind reader. That's why we have the indecent exposure laws, because you don't know if they're doing it for what reason they're doing it. It doesn't matter what the reason is. It's illegal. Yeah, when our nation longer respects God, we no longer have a nation. Yes, please spell demon rats proper. That's right. Anyway, well, nudists can go to a nude beach and do that stuff, but not in public. Moderate Democrats are all but extinct. The far left, progressive left, has driven most of them out of the party. Now they're Democrats in name only, just like some of the ghoul wearing a skin suit. Yeah. I found the source of the communism. Yeah. Jason, so we can all just go shopping naked now? Fucking, huh? Check your produce, people. Yeah. Some gay people say those devils represent them, but I don't see them trying to stop them. Yeah. Don't represent them. Yeah, I see. Soros family dropping dough to mess with the midterms. Yeah, $180 million or something, supposedly. Of the pro-slavery Confederacy chapter of this channel. What does that mean? I don't know what that means exactly. I found the source of the communism, guys. I don't know. Okay, please elaborate. In the heart of Trump's warning, it's worth taking serious, regardless of how one feels about him personally. He isn't simply mocking the Democrats for losing the ground to their base. He's arguing that the party's most prominent leaders recognize the radicalism in their rank and are too afraid to stop it. Yeah, some of them are too afraid to stop it. All right. And then we got this. Americans sound alarm over the communist surge following the New York sweep.
Diabetes treatment can cost hundreds of dollars a year.
Some dollars a year.
If you're
New York is kind of getting a taste of its own medicine. Dan Goldman being gone. So I think New York is going to see a change.
100 million people died from communism, whether it be from China and Mao or Stalin and Russia, Hitler. We can't forget our history, or we have a tendency to repeat it.
New York is pretty much, I hate to say it, far gone. I used to live by Rochester, so I can say that. I lived there for 22 years. There are conservative people there, but unfortunately, there's this new agenda coming through for being equal with certain other cultures.
If you talk to immigrants who came from countries that were socialists, they will tell you they left, tending toward communist countries. They left for that reason.
So for me personally, I don't believe in socialism. I don't believe it's found on biblical principles.
People fall for things and they think they're going to get things for free. They think they're going to have a better life, and the grass is not always greener on the other side.
Absolutely worried about socialism just because it's not something that is beneficial for our country and our values.
I understand the appeal that socialism has, but definitely don't think that it's the right way our country should be going.
If you look at the other countries that have already tried socialism, it really hasn't worked, and also doesn't really encourage innovation.
Innovation. Yeah. So. And then Israel recognizes the Armenian genocide in a historic rebuke to Turkey's century of denial. Wow, Turkey's not going to be happy. Turkey is not going to be happy. Free at whose expense? That's right. Nothing is free in life. Nothing is free. Nothing is free. And there's no free energy. There's no free nothing. Nothing is free. Good riddance to Dan Goldman, but we could use a conservative Christian Republicans in Congress. Yeah. And the show must go on. Thank you. That means we're now 48 away. We're on schedule, folks. We're on schedule. 48 away from the first additional hour. Got about a little over an hour to go. No, check the amount you will pay off to pass their wish list. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. Those people don't believe in socialism. They believe they should have the right to travel, not to work, get money, and their things for free. Unfortunately, nothing like that is real. That's right. Turkey has fucked us with our bases and everything. Oh, yeah, Turkey is ridden off us. Turkey should be kicked out of NATO in all reality. The only reason Turkey was in NATO is because they were worried about the Soviet Union. Israel's government today unanimously approved formal recognition of the Armenian genocide on Sunday, marking a historic break with decades of diplomatic caution and delivering a direct rebuke to Turkey's long campaign of denial. The cabinet backed a proposal brought by Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar to recognize the mass killing, imprisonment, and forced deportation of Armenians during the final years of the Ottoman Empire as genocide, according to a report from the Jerusalem Post. The decision must still be ratified by the Knesset before becoming Israel's formal parliamentary position. A historic decision. Israeli government has unanimously approved Foreign Minister Sa'ar's proposal to recognize the Armenian genocide. It's long overdue, and it's a moral clarity from the state of the Jewish people. So this horrifying genocide, which took place more than 100 years ago, and about whose historical facts there is truly no dispute, involving the murder of 1.5 million people and the destruction of an ancient cultural and historical heritage. So, yeah. So, in my view, it's our moral duty as Jews and certainly as the state of the Jewish people to make the decision we made today. For decades, successive Israeli governments refused to formally recognize the Armenian genocide. Cairo was once one of Israel's greatest strategic partners in the Muslim world, and Israeli leaders were reluctant to provoke a diplomatic spat. That old calculus appears to have now collapsed. Turkey under Recep Tayyip Erdogan has moved steadily away from strategic partnership with Israel and towards Islamist anti-Israel posture. Relations deteriorated sharply after the Hamas-led attack on October 7th. Fuck, man. Erdogan's repeatedly accused Israel of genocide in Gaza. Netanyahu's responded with force earlier this month, calling Erdogan an anti-Semitic dictator who's committing genocide against the Kurds. Oof, oof, oof. Everything I know about Turkey is a backstabbing character. Yeah. At this point, I think my oldest brother and his wife and daughters are communists. They're so far left, it's insane. I don't know, man. You got to try to help people. Eventually they'll figure it out. So Armenians say, Armenian people have sought international recognition. Armenian communities were decimated between 1915 and 1917. Armenians say around 1.5 million people were killed. Turkey rejects the genocide label, arguing that both the Armenian and Turks died amid a civil war, famine, and broader violence of World War I. A historical consensus outside of official Turkeydom. Scholars widely regard the mass killing of Armenians the first genocide of the 20th century. More than 30 UN member states recognize the Armenian genocide, including the United States, France, Germany, Canada, and Russia. The Holy See and the European Parliament have formally recognized it. The move also arrives at a moment when the Middle East is being reshaped by the failures of globalist diplomacy. Turkish neo-Ottoman ambition and jihadist proxy networks could be managed through polite statements and trade arrangements. No, it's not. So this posture has strained relations between Turkey and Armenia, which has no formal diplomatic ties. Turkey has to remain in NATO to at least keep Hassan Piker from fomenting a war between Turkey and Greece and glazing Erdogan when he would attack Greece for racist reasons. I mean, I don't know how. Honestly, Phil, I don't know how how them being in NATO would keep them from attacking Greece. If they want to attack Greece, they would attack Greece. I mean, then what? I mean, if they attack Greece and they're both in NATO, then how does somebody take a side if it's a NATO on NATO violence? Just saying. And then We got this story right here. Muslim man threatens to cut the throat of a British women's rights activist at Speaker's Corner. This is crazy. British women's rights activist Kelly J. Keane, also known as Posey Parker, revealed that a Muslim extremist threatened to cut her throat. The incident occurred while Keane was attending a weekly gathering at Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park. But think of how crazy that is. In England, you have to go to the specific corner and stand on this box or whatever to be able to speak. Otherwise, you could be arrested for what you're saying in England. But if you're on this corner, standing on a soapbox or whatever, they can't arrest you. It's free. You only have freedom of speech on that corner. It's crazy. I think their leadership is one big death cult. They don't fear military reprisals. I think they welcome them. Hey, Redneck Renegade, what's up? Just another shot, Cat 4. Maybe I should stray cat free. There's another shot, cat. 4 more, and I should be stray cat free. Oh, just shot another cat. Oh, why are you shooting cats, man? That's not cool. I mean, what are they doing? Are they killing all the birds? I mean, they do say that stray cats do like a massacre on birds, but I don't know. They also kill rats and other stuff, don't they? I don't know. If America withdraws from NATO, then nations that occupy corrupted NATO can be attacked by the U.S. if we have to. Oh, good. That's what should happen. Yeah, the U.S. should just attack or just withdraw then. Cult of personality is the key. It's the cult of personality. Like Mussolini and Gandhi. Oh, the cult of personality. The cult of personality. Some people don't like cats, Jim. I understand that, but I'm not one of those people. So, Elegant News says, you've never been exposed to stray cats in heat, then you would understand. I've never been exposed to like a lot of stray cats, honestly. Trap, neuter, release the cats and feed them. Socialism, yeah. They make new cats every spring. Okay. I watched a podcast across the pond, Ghost Source. Deletions have skyrocketed in immigrant no-go zones. Gary Rhodes says, Texas is a crazy arrest people for hurtful language. We are being led by Britain. It is. It's crazy. Freedom 250 State Fair is OG Trump. That's awesome. F them things. The outside of my house reeks like cat urine. I live in a country six. I don't live nuts to butts with you other people like you. Okay. Well, I'm not going to judge you. I've never been where I had a bunch of stray cats. I've never been around a bunch of stray cats, honestly. So I don't know.
Where were they? That fateful day, where were they? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I will. You're gonna what? You're gonna what? You're gonna what? Right. Where's the police? He just said he's gonna cut my throat. Police? Where are they? Do we have any? Where is he? Where's he gone? I'm gonna go and tell.
I'm gonna go tell. Oh, you know what?
Is that police? No.
I mean, she should have just said, I doubt it. Video from the incident showed a man approach and say, I'll cut your throat. This lady right here is calling my prophet Muhammad all sorts of words. Told an officer, that's illegal. The Muslim man threatens to cut her throat. At Speaker's Corner, then thinks the police will side with him. All right, let's see.
Hi. Hello. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. So that chap down there just came up to me to tell me he's going to cut my throat.
He's coming.
It's the guy here with his the thing on it. Yeah, he's got a white t-shirt, grey white t-shirt.
He's right there. Take him.
There he is. He's right there. That's right here.
This lady here is calling my prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam all sorts of words.
Never said a word.
Illegal.
It's not illegal.
Nobody.
She made an allegation. It's on tape. You threatened to cut her throat. When you guys make slavery legal again, are you going to first focus on enslaving the children first, or women, or big black guys? Big blacks first, and women. First of all, nobody wants to make slavery legal again in this country. It's legal all over in Africa and other places. There's more slavery going on in Africa right now than there was during the Great. There's more people being sold into slavery in Africa and China and places like that, and in the Middle East than anywhere else ever. It's happening. Libya is an open slave market right now. It's all over Africa, slaves. I hate to break it to you. I don't know what you think, but we don't want any slaves. Here's the thing. If you cannot assimilate into this country and be a civilized human being, go back to where you came from.
Okay.
So let's see this other one here.
No, I heard him. Guys, can you stick on one side? No, but if we just get away from a bit and then tell me what's going on.
I got it on video as well.
Who's the victim? Madam,
my whole belief.
Yeah.
They threatened me. They threatened our prophet.
Can you keep filming that?
That's a threat. That's a threat.
He just came over and said, are you going to keep talking shit about Islam? So I'm going to cut your throat. Which I think is a legitimate threat.
Where are these people born?
They're very close as well.
So I would like to say that's caused me alarm and distress, and I would like him prosecuted for that.
Alarm and distress. It caused me alarm and distress. At least she's using the proper language that they use in England over there. So at least she's using the proper language. We got 10 for Brian Ogden only because you're my friend. Well, thank you, Brian Ogden. Thank you so much. With that, folks, that means we are now just $38 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. And then another friend of mine who likes to make me stay up, Low Watermark, comes in and says, hi, Jim, more hours for $48 hairs.
Tactical assessment. Red Chinese victory. Impossible. America will never fall to communist invasion. Communism is the very definition of failure.
Thank you so much to Mark and Brian Ogden for the massive donations, along with all the other people who donated today. Sylvia, Jerry Sanders, Joe, Brian, Mark, thank you so much. That means, folks, we are now just 90 away from a second additional hour. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to everybody for the wonderful donations. And we still got lots of more time to go. Yes. Yeah. Yes, sick, huh? Salty, F them. Yeah. What's up? Wow, yeah. Thank you so much, Low Watermark. Yes, loves. If this is the UK, she better watch out. The police will arrest her. Well, that's what I'm worried, trying to see. Thanks for beating me. No problem. No problem. Yes. Gary Rhodes says an African female judge in London was convicted of having an African woman as a slave. Yeah, they still do it. They do it all the time. They do it all the time here. That's why, honestly, that's why these people are pissed about the Haitian, the TPS people, because most of these people have Haitian like maids and housekeepers that they're basically paying slave wages to be their slaves in their house now. They have these people from all over the world, housekeepers, nannies and stuff. They're their slaves, very low paid slaves. Africans were not the first slaves. That's true. The first slaves are the Slavs. The first recognized ones. That's where the word slave came from, the Slavic peoples, the Eastern Europeans, Slovakia, Slovenia. The Texas judge wasn't having that. He made the man and his wife pay the two women. Then the Muslims were deported. That's good. There was a Muslim man and his wife in Texas who snuck in two women to be slaves in their house. And when they were caught, the Muslim tried to say, my prophet, slaves. And that meant we could have slaves. Yes. Okay. Kakita is doomed and saying it aloud. Man, chance we're coming for your children during. Oh my God. So that's Canada. Oh wow. 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 So much stuff happening tonight. So much stuff happening tonight. Wow. 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 I do want to point out something. I want to let everybody know. A very special friend of mine has a YouTube channel. All right. And let me find it here. And he runs these live streams, okay? And it's just like a little live stream thing. All right. And this is basically what it looks like. It's called, the name of the channel is just Paul Couture, Couture. And he just watches his birds and everything. And he's got like the weather reports on there and stuff like that. And he's got these bird feeders set up and the birds come and stuff like that. But if you guys could, just as a favor to me, if you could just subscribe to his channel, because he's got 29 subscribers and I'd like to see him over 100, just because like it would make him very what's the word I'm looking for? Shock him that people are actually paying attention to his stuff. And you don't have to watch, you don't have to go, if you don't want to. Stuff. I like to watch it sometimes just to relax and look at the birds feeding and stuff like this, but I'm not asking you to watch or whatever, or like put like notifications on or anything like that. But if just go subscribe to his channel and come back, and then it'll make him. I put the link in the chat. I put the link in the chat. It's Paul, Poul Couture. And just be nice. He's an older gentleman, and this is like his hobby with the birds and stuff. I'd like to see him get like maybe see him get like a whole bunch of subs, and then it'll be I'm friends with his son, so it's a nice gesture, I think, to try and help out. So thank you, I appreciate it. We love watching birds. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. You enjoy channels like this? Yeah. And he's got like it's like it has weather, like weather stuff. If you're in that area, he's in Wisconsin, but it's just something like his son told me that he had the channel, and I went and subscribed, and I said, dude, I'm going to get him some subs just because, it'll make him, it'll make his son happy, and it'll make him happy, and he'll be bragging to his son, like, look at these people are watching my channel. I got all these subs. So, thank you so much. Your voice comforts my sleep. Well, thank you. Yeah. It'll be the chat. The link is in the YouTube. The link for that video is in the. I guess I could do his video link. So let's see. Here, I'll put his actual video link in the chat too. He's showing birds. Yeah, it's like a bird. Here's his channel. It's like he does like live streams all the time with and it's just like bird feeders and squirrels and stuff and weather, and it's just something to check it out, and like make an older gentleman happy. Your granddog Violet loves to watch birds. I think I'm a grandchild maybe. So thank you. This could be your good deed for the day. I'm trying. I always try to do at least one. So I always try to do at least one good deed for the day. So the man continued arguing that Keene insulted his religious beliefs. In a series of ex posts, Let Women Speak, and Keene detailed the incident. Police arrested the man. So the police did arrest the man. Oh, I try, Joe. I try. Yeah. I mean, I'm not. I mean, if people, it costs nothing to subscribe. It doesn't to go give them a subscription. It costs nothing. You don't have to watch. You know, if you're something you might enjoy, if you're bored, or if you want to relax, you want to pop it on to like go to sleep, watch the birds or something like that, or during the day, something relaxing. I don't know.
Can you stop? Can you stop?
Stop it. Stop.
Please.
Here's your taxi now, sir.
We should encourage him to do a squirrel obstacle course. I have been sending some messages of what he could do, like some different stuff to do. But we'll see. I told him, make it interesting, because I told him that the channels that have like that have like live feeds on like eagle nests and other stuff, when there's like other birds doing things, they get tons of views. People love watching them. You pop it on if there's a bunch of action and stuff like that. You sub to Paul. I hope it's interesting. I'm not. Listen, Steve, I'm not saying it's going to be super interesting. It's just some like birds and stuff. You'll see some birds coming during the day. It's bird feeders and stuff like that. You need something to sleep to besides news. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. You definitely subscribe, though. Well, I appreciate it. I do. The mantra in the UK is millions must go. Yeah, I hope so. I'm hoping they all go. So it's pretty embarrassing that most people who defend Islam don't seem to understand that since 700 AD, it hasn't changed. The throat cutting, stabbing, murder, and raping is the same as it ever was. Oof. That's not a lie. That's not a lie. So Tom Tillis claims that it's a math problem and brags that he's blocking Trump's SAVE Act while demon rats prioritize illegals. It's crazy. It's crazy why they would want to do this. Why they would want to do that. It's just crazy. Yeah, this asshole. Thank God he's gone. I'm thinking about only 4 days this week. I've never been paid for holidays except military. So President Trump's putting America first, demanding a simple proof that American citizens are the only people who get to vote and that they decide the elections, which doesn't everybody want that to happen? On Thursday, Trump drew a hard line in the sand and he abruptly canceled the signing ceremony for a massive bipartisan housing bill that sailed through Congress with overwhelming support, 85 in the Senate and 258 to 320 to 32 in the House. Well, that's not a lot of people in the House. There's like 400 and something people in the House. A bunch of people didn't vote. Today's housing news conference and signing is hereby canceled until the time that we pass this. Not enough numbers should be over 100,000 marching. More than 1,000 march in France after 17-year-old Louis. Oh, I saw this thing. Aren't birds spy surveillance drones? I did see somebody who made that claim that birds were actually surveillance drones. I did see that. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. So yeah. So this is good. So here, Tillis is going to brag about it.
If you're over 60 with money in an IRA or 401k, a federal law that just completed its rollout.
Does you need ID to drive, to vote, to buy alcohol? What's your objection with the Save America Act?
It's quite simple. It's a math problem. We simply don't have the votes, and the Save America Act will not be implemented in time for this election. Anybody that knows anything about election law understands that. And the reason I do is I passed voter ID when I was Speaker of the House. And if anybody thinks that you're going to implement something as expansive as the SAVE Act in 2 months, see, everybody's talking about November, right? Okay, that's 5 months away. But people will be doing some early voting. People will have to deal with registrations. Does any rational person who's ever had any experience with implementing election law really think that it's possible to have all that in place in time for this election and not be disruptive? And incidentally, it's an unfunded mandate that has $0 for implementation. So I would ask anybody who actually understands how to pass laws, implement them, and have them in place at the level that they need to be to ensure the integrity of elections, how absurd is it to think that could be done by November?
Do some Republicans in the House think this can be done through reconciliation?
What difference does it make if it's not done by November, as long as it's done? Is this what we're going to do? Like, oh, we don't have, it's not going to be done by November, so we can't do it. No, just do it. Make it the fucking law. Holy shit. Can't Trump make an EO to show IDs in federal elections? They did. It's being fought out in courts right now. Hopefully the Supreme Court will weigh in and say that it can go through. Democrats would do it in a heartbeat if it was their advantage. They had a year to fix the stuff. Yeah, they keep screwing around. This is about John Cornyn, huh? Let's see here. So I don't.
Reconciliation. What is your take on that?
No, it can't. If it could, we'd already be talking about it. Let's just stop playing games. Let's stop being dishonest. Let's recognize that 36 states have some form of voter ID today.
Yeah, and weird too. 36 states have some form of voter ID. What about the other states that don't? Oh yeah, there's the ones that Kamala all won. It's odd, isn't it? It's odd. Very odd. Like not odd like haha, but odd like strange. You know, that that's where we're at now. That we have like people like this is supposed to be a Republican. We want all to have it. That's right. John Cornyn's another piece of work. Cornyn turn at retardation. Yeah. Good. Should be no objection at all. It should be 9-0. It should be. You have many songbirds in your yard. You watch them daily: cardinals, robins, jays, doves. Yes, I have a lot of mourning doves outside my house, man. You know that. Just like the white-winged dove plays a song, I can sing it. Ooh, baby, ooh, ooh, ooh. He could be Pinocchio, yeah. Yeah, blue states are not. Yeah, blue states don't have it. So he's a jerkbag, this guy.
Maybe we should go to Utah as a pilot case, get them to implement what Senator Lee is suggesting. They could get it done in a matter of a week and then become a best practice for the rest of us to follow next year. Maybe we should go to Utah and Alabama and others.
Oh, I don't know. Why don't you? Florida's been doing it. Florida's been doing it for 20 years. So why not just do what Florida does? Mexico requires voter ID and how many of their nationals reside in the U.S. It's crazy. Yeah. Plan for New York City real estate. Landlord drags Zoran. Yeah, well, that's the thing. They do. That's what they plan on doing. They plan on basically forcing landlords to not be able to pay to have stuff done. So yeah, so glad he's out too. You ain't kidding. So that's that scum. All right. And then here's John Cornyn. Backfire. Americans respond with ferocity after John Cornyn lashes out at keyboard warriors, geniuses, and grifters pushing the Save America Act. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. So the sour senator decided on Saturday to go after Americans who have consistently pushed to get the Senate to pass the Save America Act. Democrats are in a meltdown mode because should the measure pass, they would find stealing elections more challenging. Oh yeah, this leftist Jew-hating teacher marries a Gaza guy. Yeah, I think I saw that story. I don't know what's going to happen with that because you can't do that. You can't say you married someone just to get them citizenship. That's what you call fraud. You know, like not a good fraud either, like a bad fraud. Like you can't do that. Get to do that. This is not good. You can't do that. Sorry. Marriage fraud, $250,000 fine, 5 years in jail. Yeah. Does Florida still use punch cards on voting day that cause the issues? No, we have not used those. The hanging chads, we have not used those. It's just a little dead still voting isn't a problem. No, the dead voting is a problem, but not in. I mean, Florida. Florida. I've had to correct my signature several times. I've had to go in and prove who I was because they said my signature didn't match several times. They'll call it, you give them, if they have your information when you gotta, like for every election cycle, every 4 years, you have to re-register, new signature card, do all this stuff. I don't know. It works, man. It works. So please get back to work. We beg you stay in DC, forgo the recess and fight for everything. So wouldn't it be better if we spent 150 million building voter registration operations in every state? Grifters. Yeah. So here's Cornyn. My name is John Cornyn. I'm a complete failure. Ken Paxton was the right choice.
My name is John Cornyn, and I am a complete failure. Ken Paxton was the right choice.
Yep. I have that story, Gundam, already. I have that story. It's in this description. They're charged. They had a 7-year-old kid that was 255 pounds that died, and they're being charged with crimes. I have to look more into the story. I have it, but we'll see. I don't know. The law pope would go nuts for that. Yeah, definitely real. Definitely real. Looks real to me. Yeah, Cornyn is correct. Yeah, definitely. I just voted for the Save America Act. I support use of talking filibuster. I'm glad the Senate will debate this bill. Let's get it done. That was 317. I marvel at the Rhino members will get crushed in our primaries. The base doesn't demoralize you. So yes, these guys all suck. They all suck. I got this low-life guns down, a hardworking grandmother of two at the Dollar General manager over a $1.58 purchase. Police killed a thug in a shootout. Yeah, I believe I saw the story, and there people were upset. People were upset that they didn't take him alive. That they didn't take him alive. Whoa, no, what happened there? Man. Low-life guns down, a hardworking, wicked man brutally murdered a hardworking grandmother last week over a cheap purchase before being killed himself. Your signature never matches your signature. Look at the video I sent you. Okay. I lost to Trump. Oh. All right. I'll maybe we'll play that when we hit the 2 hours. Let me keep that on the side. And maybe I'll pull that up when we hit the 2 hour mark. So WKRC in Cincinnati. WKRC? No, it's WKRP. Anyway. So the Muskogee County coroner's report, the individual identified as Jerome Willis handed 2 crumpled dollar bills, which would seem like a simple transaction, but the situation took a sinister turn as Hill straightened out the money, and unhappy Willis decided the moment to step aside, pull out a gun, and shoot her for a $2 purchase. For a $2 purchase. Wow. For a $2 purchase. Wow. Hill was pronounced dead at the scene. Why is there air? I don't know. Talking about dead air? Me? Sorry. Following the murder, Willis fled the scene. Police located him about 3 hours later. Willis ended up paying the ultimate price, but not before injuring a canine officer and a human police officer. Officers gave him verbal demands. Suspect did not comply. They released the canine. Willis pulled a gun and shot at the canine officer and the others. Columbus Police Department. Also, it's Columbus Police, not Cincinnati. So Officer was treated at the hospital and released. A dog named Havoc was transported to a veterinary before being airlifted to an emergency hospital. Havoc's now recovering from surgery after being sent home. Hill leaves behind 3 children and 2 grandchildren. She can't be replaced. I'm at a loss what we're going to have to deal with, and the family are going to have to deal with. WKRC reported that the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Wait, so it's Cleveland, Georgia, not Cleveland, Ohio. Okay. Well, that's horrible. Yes, he was black, and the woman was also black. And the family's very upset that why he wasn't taken alive. Cornhead is finished. Wow. Criminal gangs in Europe are surging with an army of 400,000 gangsters working for the syndicates. Almost thought that was my Columbus. Yeah, I did at first. I thought it was Columbus, Ohio. That's why I was saying the WKRP in Cincinnati thing. It was Columbus, Georgia, I guess. Crime is thriving. Europe is stagnant. Under the scourge of unchecked mass migration, Europe is seeing violent levels skyrocketing at levels never thought possible. Today, the acting executive director of Europol and the chief of Cyprus police, Themistos Notis, present the mapping the most dangerous criminal networks. So, a 54-page dossier shows that laid bare the scale of the drug trafficking, cybercrime, and migrant smuggling operations across the continent. 400,000 gangsters work for criminal syndicates. The epidemic was summarized in a single sentence that criminals are thriving. Decoding EU's most threatening criminal networks. There are 731 gangs across Europe that have been classified as the most threatening criminal networks. Just love that show. Me too. Good show. They stretch from Latin America to the Balkans. Police have dismantled 632 gangs between 2024 and 2026. However, 533 new ones have reemerged to take their place. Europol found criminal gangs are flexible. Yeah, they can always, these are not street gangs, these are corporations of crime. Wow. Corporations of crime. Corporations are crime. Yes. And then this story. Michigan parents charged with the murder and 2 other crimes after their 7-year-old son dies while weighing a whopping 255 pounds. Can you believe that? 255 pounds? 255 pounds? Night court wasn't bad either. Yeah. Bull. Remember that bailiff Bull or whatever his name was? And then Harry was the judge, and John Larroquette was the prosecutor, I believe. Are they Mexican? I don't know. Oh, Bill Cosby's 1965 live album, Why Is There Air? Bill Cosby was a funny comedian. Oh, look at these people. Wow. 255 pounds. Yeah. 2 Michigan residents are facing decades in prison in one of the most disturbing child abuse cases imaginable. Fox 2 reported that Damien and Jessica O'Brien were charged with second-degree murder after the death of their morbidly obese 7-year-old. The Bryans also face torture and child abuse charges. This looks evil. Yes, they look evil. They look healthy. Yeah. I didn't know EBT stood for extremely big tot. The kid was like 4 feet tall. Last November, Bryans called 911 to their Flint Township home after their young son Casper stopped breathing. Police discovered he was completely bedridden, unable to speak, and living in absolute filth. Casper later died at the hospital from multiple heart muscle disease compounded by morbid obesity. At the time of his passing, he weighed 255 pounds. Ooh. Police also discovered the 5-year-old sister in the House of Horrors, and she was in rough shape as well. The Genesee County prosecutor described the girl's condition as follows. When police arrived, the 5-year-old girl was running around naked, and for lack of a better term, she was like a feral child. The little girl was removed from the home by CPS. She's now in temporary foster care. Detroit Fox 2 Detroit notes that Damien and Jessica were employed and had health, making the abuse even more evil. The fact that Casper was nonverbal and likely on the autism spectrum, meaning he absolutely needed specialized care. Yeah, the kid made more than their dad. Yeah. Even more alarming, late note, the O'Briens were called the veterinarian when the dog fell ill, and the same morning Casper went into cardiac arrest. They knew enough to call a vet the very morning the child went into cardiac arrest, but because the dog was sick, but they didn't know to take their kids to the doctor. Doesn't make any sense to me. Wow. This is going to be something. This is going to be a feral kid. Yeah. It sounds like, I mean, from the looks of these people, they look, I thought they looked older, but I guess maybe they could be in their 30s. Maybe, I don't know. They look. Hey, Miss Hacker, how you doing? Give it up, Marvin Gaye. I'll try. So.
Michigan parents are now charged with murder, torture, and multiple counts of child abuse. Prosecutors say the charges are linked to the passing of their 7-year-old son. It happened in Flint Township. Court documents accused the parents, Damien and Jessica O'Brien, of causing serious physical harm to their son, who weighed 255 pounds. Investigators say the child couldn't move, and the parents are also accused of not taking him to the doctor.
Just that morning, they had called the veterinarian about one of their pets, a dog that was ill. So it's not as if they didn't know what to do. They certainly knew what to do for the dog, but they didn't do it for their own children, and they didn't do it for Casper. And sadly, he died because of the neglect. Now,
the two are currently being held without bond in the Genesee County Jail.
Wow.
People who sat at her.
Wow. So, yeah, so this is crazy. So, paramedics responded. I'm just going to look and see if it was one of the most unbelievable scenes that police have ever seen that they've reviewed in 22 years. These parents, I believe, neglected the child to the point he became obese. I mean, neglected the child to the point he became obese. I mean, what were they feeding him? She looks younger than the husband, maybe by 10 years. Yeah. Damien O'Brien, 40, and Jessica O'Brien, 41, are each charged with second-degree murder. I don't believe anybody from the school district, CPS, or anybody even knew these children existed. That kid must have been mainlining pudding. Well, something doesn't make a lot of sense. So they were 1 year apart. The parents' landlord told police they'd been concerned because the house had fallen into disrepair, and O'Brien said they couldn't go inside. The prosecutor added the family had health insurance and only took Casper O'Brien to a physician one time. They're each expected to appear at a probable cause conference on Thursday. It seems like a case where meth was involved somehow. Well, that's the thing, but how did they get all this food? The kid had to have been eating to weigh 255 pounds. He had a feeding tube and he was being fed 24/7. Are you serious? He had heart disease, so edema, maybe. My autistic son is big, but he's 6'2" and 33. Okay. Pringles with ranch dressing. Oh, God. Oh, Bryce Cooley says, I used to like Brandon Gill until he started criticizing that cool German skull tattoo on Grand Plattner's chest. Gill is just another APAC lapdog. Oh, okay. Nice photo from... Nice profile picture. This doesn't compare to the case of a 32-year-old that only weighed 69 pounds and was held captive for 30 years. Yeah. Oh, wow. Wow. We got this. Feeding our future fraudster caught in Somalia. We caught one in Somaliland. A smelly man who reportedly helped orchestrate the most egregious fraud scheme in Minnesota's history lived a high life off the ill-gotten gains after authorities caught him in Mogadishu. Interesting watching the whole world judge everyone all at once with the flooding of social media and world news. It is, right? It is very interesting. There are some sick demonic people in this world. I find it interesting that dad's name is Damien. Oh, I'm sorry, Ronnie. It does. I don't like anything that anything at all that when it comes to kids. Like I I'm a firm. I really support Florida's new rule about the death penalty for child sex predators. So the Feeding Our Future director, Amy Bach, who implicated Ilhan Omar, Tim Walz, and Keith Ellison in a fraud, received a sentence of almost 42 years in prison. Multiple co-conspirators have already pled guilty. So FBI agent Daniel Rosen and Special Agent Christopher Dodson announced that Abdikarim Al-Dalali of Burnsville, Minnesota, was arrested in Mogadishu. Is he from Burnsville or did he? Damn it, you cursed. Uh-oh. Thank you for the 5. It's greatly appreciated. That means we're now just 85 away from a second additional hour. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I didn't look and see. So he was an alleged ringleader, one of the largest fraud scandals in the history of the country. $250 million scheme. It's as shameless as it gets, but thanks to a brilliant op from this FBI and our great partners, we continue working every day to arrest the 70 members in this case. This might be a good time to remind Americans how vast the amount of taxpayer money not only went to Somalis committing crimes, but also straight to Somalia, funding Al-Shabaab, Iran, and the rest of them. And the Trump administration has not yet recognized the Republic of Somaliland, which is functionally independent and more democratic than Somalia, and only apparent reason being not to upset Somalia. Another issue is that Bach implicated many high-profile politicians, including Omar, who committed immigration fraud, according to Trump, and their families tied to genocide in Somalia, as for Walz, Ellison, and that Rep. Anna Paulina Luna referred them to the DOJ for prosecuting. Just waking up. Oh, thanks for being here. Question is, will any of these 3 politicians face any consequences for their criminal actions? Well, we can hope so. We can hope so. I mean, why shouldn't they? How can these people keep getting away with it? How can they keep getting away with it? Yeah. Suspect in Minneapolis fraud arrested in Somalia after 4 years on the run. 4 years on the run.
Largest ever fraud scheme. The FBI calls him the number 2 guy in Minnesota's largest ever fraud scheme. This evening, he is behind bars thousands of miles away. Only WCCO's Jonah Kaplan talked to the team who tracked him down on another continent. And Jonah joins us right now. So he's been on the run for years.
Yeah, Amelia, if you go back to the original indictment for Feeding Our Future, there's Amy Bach, the convicted ringleader, and then this gentleman, Abdi Kerm. He was last seen in Minnesota in November 2021. Abdi Kerm had booked a round-trip ticket from Minneapolis to London and never came back. But here he is in custody in Mogadishu, Somalia, 4.5 years later.
This office has now been focusing intensively on fraud against the taxpayers of the United States and the taxpayers of Minnesota.
U.S. Attorney Daniel Rosen and FBI Special Agent in Charge Christopher Dodson sat down with us for an exclusive interview about the joint operation with Somali intelligence.
It shows that the long arm of American law reaches all around the globe, that even in Somalia, you can't escape the FBI.
Was this something where you got a tip and all of a sudden he reappeared again?
Mr. Edley was on our radar for some time. I can tell you that we have been tracking his whereabouts for a couple of weeks. And when the time was safe and opportune for law enforcement, they sprung to action to take him into custody.
It sounds pretty significant that the government of Somalia was actually working with the United States, the FBI.
We were hand in glove in this investigation from the start, and we owe a lot of gratitude to them for the success of this operation.
Along with Bach, Edley allegedly recruited and bribed the businesses that submitted fake receipts and invoices to the Minnesota Department of Education in the Feeding Our Future scheme. Investigators also allege Edley personally took in more than $5 million in cash and used some of it to buy a house in Burnsville, and also sent some of that to Uganda, China, and the UAE.
For other people of importance, but there was, after Amy Bach, nobody exceeded Mr. Edley in importance in the Feeding Our Future scheme.
Bach was sentenced to more than 40 years in prison last month. She is appealing that sentence. Edley, though, will have to be extradited to the United States before any trial can get underway here, and there's no timetable for that just yet. Amelia?
All right. Thank you, Jonah.
Wow.
CBS.
Wow. So interesting. So he was taken into custody. It's a big fish. It's all this stuff. So that's good. So smelly land is not a safe haven if you might think it is. Well, they spent a bunch of money there. They probably would have protected them more if he had more money to pay them. We got this Senate Farm Bill defunds the USDA animal labs in China, Russia, and other adversarial nations in response to white coat waste investigations. Wait, why the fuck were we funding animal labs in China, Russia, and other adversarial nations? Wow. That's crazy. That is crazy. This is just crazy. Hold on 1 second. I gotta. Okay. We all want to know why we're funding these labs all over the world. I mean, it's just crazy. It just seems same reason as gain of function to get around the laws and public sentiments. It's crazy. Wuhan Institute of Virology. The Senate newly released version of the 2026 Farm Bill includes a white coat waste-backed language that prohibits USDA from funding animal research labs in China, Russia, and other nations. Joni Ernst says American taxpayer dollars should never fund animal research in adversarial nations, including bizarre studies like cat on treadmills in Russia. I mean, I saw stuff where we had shrimp on treadmills in the U.S. We're funding it so the demon rats can take kickbacks. Yes, I think that's more than likely what is happening. More than likely. More than likely, I think that's what is happening. Mm-hmm. I think we should stop funding everything outside the U.S. Yep, gave up. So we shall prohibit research involving vertebrate animals carried out in the People's Republic of China. Limitation on certain research in countries it concerns bars, Secretary of Agriculture, acting under the Undersecretary for Research, Economics, and Education from conducting funding for researchers. The records show that young animals, including some just 1 day old, were infected and subjected to painful, severe experiments without pain relief, often resulting in suffering and death. No. After pressure from the White Coast waste bipartisan lawmakers, including Senator Ernst and Rep. Ben Klein, after a year-long campaign, the Trump administration's agriculture secretary announced the project was being canceled. Another White Coat waste investigation exposed. Taxpayer dollars funded deadly experiments on silver foxes at a fur farm controlled by the Russian authorities. Oh. Pity the fool that is last in the chain. I think back to all the bobbleheads at the MSM like CNN who defame people over the COVID lab leak and other topics like ivermectin, minimal if any consequences for the gaslighting. Yeah, it should be. So between 2018 and 2020, University of Illinois spent $123,000 as part of a larger grant to study fox's social behavior. They were ultimately killed and their brains dissected. What the hell, man? What the hell, man? I don't know. What are they doing? Is this a fox? I mean, what is happening here? I don't know. I thought it was going to be like someone talking about something. So, since they first exposed ending Fauci's reckless funding for gain of function animal research in Wuhan, we've led to stop funding everything. Good, get rid of it. The investigation proved that foreign animal funding problem was bigger than Fauci. Bird flu gain of function experiments in Wuhan linked mad scientists in China, deadly brain experiments on foxes. This stuff's got to stop. Got to stop. No more. No more. No more. Then the UK Home Secretary announces a program to bring in thousands more migrants. That's right, thousands more migrants. That's horrible. Yeah, I don't want to see animals in pain. I didn't know what it was. I was like trying to figure it out. I bet the cat killer. Okay, never mind. Yeah, so this woman who, look at her name, Shabana Mahmood. Look at that face. It's going to protect genuine refugees and when close loopholes that have been abused. So, UK government's announced new safe and legal refugee sponsor routes that would allow organizations to help resettle genuine refugees. Yeah, I thought that's what they were doing all along. That's the same groups. Yeah, good English name. Yeah, Shabana Mahmood. Yeah, Mahmood. Mahmood announced the measure. The new pathways are expected to launch later this year. Yeah. Just to bring in more people. Yeah, get more in. The Home Office is understood to want to resettle 10,000 more migrants. So more migrants. The measure is aimed at reducing vexatious immigration claims, proposals that would change how human rights and modern slavery laws are applied in asylum cases. Announcements drawn criticism. Yeah. Reform UK said it would undo the system if it takes control. Many of those admitted in the UK under any legal scheme would try to enter the UK by small boat anyway. Mahmoud defended the proposal, saying it would protect genuine refugees and would be closing loopholes. Let's just say that there's like hardly any genuine refugees anymore. There's not. There's not. And if you take all the refugees, if you take everybody out of the country, how are they going to ever make their country better? All you're doing is making it so that they can't fix their country. That's all you're doing. Britain has always offered sanctuary to those fleeing war and persecution. Not always. That's not true. At the beginning of World War II, leading up to World War II, Britain turned away all those boats full of Jews trying to flee Germany. So you did not always offer sanctuary to those fleeing war and persecution. Britain did not allow the boats to dock in England to let the Jews off. Neither did the U.S., though. So just saying that. According to a report, Mahmoud's attempt to gain support for her immigration bill before Burnham is expected to become prime minister. The bill is set to appear next week through some elements may be opposed by Labour MPs. The new sponsorship system draws heavily from Canada's private refugee model, which helped resettle 400,000 refugees in Canada. Wow. Yeah. Jacob Frey praises Somalia. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that he's championed Somaliland's, their anniversary of independence or whatever, but not the US's. Crazy. Crazy about you. Well, about 30%. Yeah. So about 30% higher than immigrants resettled through government schemes. The UK already operates relatively small community sponsorships. Yeah. So these, the people that are doing the rape gangs will just bring in more rapists. They'll be like, hey, these guys will rape with us. We won't have to do it alone. So let's bring in more rapers. Man chants, we're coming for your children during the Toronto Pride Parade. Oh, wow. Marchers can be seen moving through this parade route while chanting, we're coming for your children. See, I don't think I can play any videos of this because you never know. Footage shared by Juno shows paraders marching during the Toronto Pride. We're coming for your children.
We're coming for your children. We're coming for your children.
All right. I can hear it. I'll make sure you guys can hear it.
We're coming for your children. 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 We're coming for your children.
Wow. I don't know if that's the guy recording it or not that's making those statements. So in the video, marchers can be seen moving through the streets in the parade route. The phrase has been a source of controversy at other Pride events in recent years, particularly when used in public demonstrations. You can for some hot lead. Gerbils. The Office for National Statistics releases annual baby name statistics. Muhammad was number one. It outperformed Noah. At least the guy at the Pride Parade was being honest. Yeah. That's in the UK for Muhammad baby name. Yeah, I know. It's been that way for a while. New York's annual drag march, they were chanting, we're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children. Footage that circulated widely and drew criticism. Yeah, but not from where it should have. Among those, that should have drawn criticism from the left, and it didn't. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who condemned the chant and called for legislative action, including support for Protect Children's Innocent Act. The phrase has been compared to a 2021 controversy involving the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus, which faced backlash after releasing a satirical video containing lyrics, "We convert your children." Yeah, no, that wasn't satirical. The group later said the song was intended as irony. Oh, yeah. Though critics said it was an inappropriate message. It wasn't irony. They think they think they can get away with the shit is what it is. More than 1,000 march in France after 17-year-old Louis dies from brutal gang assault. Roughly 1,300 people participated in a memorial march, which began at Narbonne City Hall and proceeded to the site of the attack. It wasn't satirical. No, it wasn't. Effing smart person. Thank you. With that 5 now, folks, that means we're now just 80 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. With that, I think we will reset the goal over there on the YouTube. And while I reset the goal, I have this video here that I will share while I'm resetting the goal. So everyone can check it out.
Have you or someone you know been diagnosed with TDS? The symptoms can be relentless. Fortunately, I'm Dr. Trump, and I have a treatment plan. Let's hear what some of my patients have to say.
I have been suffering for over a decade. And after listening to Dr. Trump, I can see some results.
Man, I've been suffering for years. I really didn't believe that was help out there. That was when I came across this video on TV.
I really thought I was a lost cause. This was gonna affect me for the rest of my life. But after using the treatment plan, I can see a difference.
I really wasn't sure I could help some of these people. They were so far gone, I wasn't really sure.
I had no idea how much this was affecting my life. My work is slowed down. I'm hardly recognizable anymore. I just needed help.
I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. Constantly angry. I made everyone miserable around me.
I feel like I've aged 20 years in the last 2 years. I've been so concerned. I was really starting to worry about my future.
The treatment is simple. Turn off. Fake news. Say your prayers, and if you ever feel anxious, just have a Diet Coke like me, and you're going to see a remarkable difference in your life.
Wow, that's great. Just have a Diet Coke like Trump, he says. That's what Trump says. That's what Trumpy says. Trumpy says. So here we go. Anyway, I got a rant. Oh my God, yes. I got a rant. Hey, from Jennifer, B Job Secure says, hilarious. Well, thank you. With that rant, that means we're now just $75 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. TDS suppositories. Yes, that would be great. So let's, that was sent to me by CF Rob. CF Rob sends me a lot of good stuff. He sent me this too. I don't know if you guys saw this. Maybe you guys saw it. RFK would not approve that message. No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. Everything freeze? So more than 1,000 people marched through the streets of Narbonne, France over the weekend to honor 17-year-old Louis, who died after being brutally beaten by a gang of men in an attack that sparked global attention. According to L'Indépendant, roughly 1,300 people participated in the memorial march, which began at Narbonne City Hall. Narbonne. Justice for Louis. Wow. The Siamese is Rob's cat, Cricket. The Siamese is Rob's cat, CF Rob's cat, Cricket. Yeah, it's supposed to be my cat, Cricket. It's AI. 100%. Thank you. So Louis died after being attacked by a group of teenagers who filmed the assault and posted on social media. The group was seen repeatedly punching, kicking, and stomping on Louis till he lost consciousness. The teen was transported to a hospital where he was placed to a medically induced coma. He later died from his injuries. At the time of the attack, Louis was under the care of France's Child Protective Services. The perpetrators, 5 men between the age of 16 and 19, were all arrested. Police were able to track them down quickly due to the recording of the and subsequent posting of the attack. Yeah, they videotaped. It's pretty, generally speaking, videotaping and posting your attacks and crimes is not a good idea, Louis had a history with the gang. They had frequently attacked him. They were all local boys known to police for delinquency and other problems. Louis knew them too, mainly through child welfare homes and programs run by authorities. The gang lured Louis to a building site in Narbonne and barbarically beat him to death. Former French Interior Minister Bruno Retailleau condemned the killing, calling it violence unbearable and nauseating. I first think of his loved ones who will have to live with this immense grief. Once again, suffering. Several of those charged are minors. We can no longer pretend that this barbarization is just a string of isolated incidents, Retailleau declared. I'm Renard Chatillon. The French people demand that things will change. Yes, they demand. The French people demand that things will change. Demand. Hey, look at this. Lurch Linger with a gifted membership. Thank you, Lurch. Wow, thank you so much. That means, folks, we are now just 69, dude. We're 69, dude, away from adding a second additional hour. Just 69, dude. That means that we are Airwolf 71. Airwolf, man. Remember that? Airwolf? Remember that TV show Airwolf? It was great. Wow. Airwolf 71. See the gift of membership from Lurch Linger. Congratulations, Airwolf, and welcome to the JimTellsYou. Yes, congrats, Airwolf. Posting your crimes is a very good idea. A cost-saving action. Yes, it saves us all a lot of money. Got this landlord drags Zoran Mandami and his voters after communist mayor announces rent freeze for more than 2 million residences. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? There we go. Might be hot outside, but the rent is freezing. Let's see. So we're gonna watch Mandami first.
New York, the Independent Rent Guidelines Board just froze the rent. That means if you're one of the more than 2 million New Yorkers who lives in a rent-stabilized apartment, your rent's going to be frozen next year.
Wow. Did you guys be able to hear that? Were you able to hear that? Was it loud enough? Okay. And then this is the guy's response. But Eugene Paul Bernard, who's a landlord and real estate broker and investor, was quite unimpressed. He posts his own video. He opens by sarcastically congratulating renters on having the rent frozen and pours out a cold reality that neither they nor Mandami wants to hear. What?
Congratulations to all the renters out there. You guys did it. You guys got the rent frozen, and for the next 2 years, there will be no increases. Perfect. Now, that doesn't mean that the expenses have gone down. That doesn't mean that taxes, insurance, water, energy, labor, none of that went down. So I'm not sure if we were struggling to make the numbers before. I'm not sure how we're going to fix that boiler, how we're going to provide you hot water, fix that broken elevator, and do all those things that you tenants deserve, which is your right. But if there's no money, how are we going to do this? And conveniently, the same city that just passed this rent freeze has also said that they will be taking distressed properties from bad landlords. So we don't have the money to fix the properties, but if we don't fix the properties, you guys are going to take it away. I love it. Socialism at its best.
Yeah, crazy. All right. Hopefully that doesn't get me. Congratulations to all the renters. You guys did it. So not sure. We're struggling to make the numbers before. We're going to make it again. So you don't have the money to fix the properties, but you don't fix it, they're going to take it away. Yeah. Socialism at its best. Yes. All right. We got this. The enemy within. Leftist Jew-hating teacher marries Gaza Islamist in order to give him American citizenship. I won't play, you gay? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. What are you gay? No, this idiot woman. A radical teacher sparked an uproar after deciding to marry a radical Muslim living in Gaza to help him become an American citizen. The New York Post reported on Saturday that Laura Pino announced via June 16th Code Pink Zoom that challenging Zionism in our schools that she had married Salam Abu Amar, a dance teacher at Canoga Park High School in California. I have the power as American citizens. I have a passport that I was born with, and now I can live in this world if I don't make every effort to equalize the playing field. Tell you, white women, man, they're going to fuck us. This is going to, destroy a lot of stuff. The Post obtained records showing that Pino and Abu were married on April 5th in Utah. The state allows marriages to be conducted via Zoom. A month before the marriage, they organized a GoFundMe. She claimed the primary caregiver was the primary caregiver for a family of 5. Inglewood, New Jersey Mayor Michael Wilds, who was an immigration attorney and former federal prosecutor, noted that Pino committed federal crimes and the government can investigate. She can be prosecuted criminally, brought up on a federal conspiracy charges. Marriage fraud is one of the top 5 crimes you can perpetrate, including terrorism and drugs. The fact that somebody would be foolish enough to say they actually did it makes it actionable for the federal government. Yes, it is fraud. And she announced it like a fucking idiot. And so they're going to prosecute her, hopefully. The Department of Homeland Security has said it's unclear whether Abu Amra has entered the United States. They note that once posted an image on Facebook honoring Islamic Jihad terrorists. More disturbing that Pino has a 5-year-old child with her former partner, Derek J. Reed, an improv coach who also lives at her home. Reed provided details on how their relationship fell apart. Reed told the Post that he and Pino were domestic partners and never officially married. They're currently separated, and the two sleep in different rooms at the same address. He said he has no knowledge of her marriage to Abu Amra. He said the relationship dissolved partly over Israel. She left the church. The two had attended together over its stance on Israel-Palestinian conflict. She's been radicalized. I don't know anything about that. The crowd she runs with, I'm worried for her. According to the Post, Pino consistently not only pushed anti-Semitic hatred for years, but also steered her students into radical anti-Israel protests. In one Facebook post last December, she claimed Israel was created by satanic bankers and voiced several neo-Nazi conspiracy theories. She also praised Candace Owens in a post for allegedly saying that America is ruled by satanic pedophiles who work for the Jewish state. Yes, she can join her new husband in his country, yes. Pino's actions go well behind simple American rhetoric. They represent a threat to America. One cannot rule out the possibility that she and her husband will eventually embark on a terror attack should he set foot on U.S. Yes. Man stuck his dick in crazy. He did. She is crazy. We've seen how hateful words from the left and Islamists lead to violence. Yes. So, yeah, I hope they prosecute her. Throw the full weight of the law at her. Sisters and a friend charged in a Texas mom stabbing death. This is crazy. And so many crazy stories. So many crazy stories tonight. So many crazy stories tonight. So many. Socialism only works in 2 places: heaven, where they don't need it, and hell, where they already have it. Oof. You ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. Two sisters and a friend were charged with the murder after 32-year-old Texas mother of 5 was stabbed multiple times in broad daylight and later died. I hope these people keep posting. Who authorized Zoom marriages? Utah, I guess. Crazy fucking Utah. Zoom marriages. She loves crazy. Imagine my shocks. Imagine my shock, too. Wow. So Kitty Mia Diaz, Amaya Cookie Diaz, and Keandra Renee Faz were arrested Thursday and charged with murder in the fatal attack, the Del Rio Police Department wrote in a Facebook post. The victim, identified as Caroline Caro Pena. She was one of those people, she was born to be a mom, Pena's childhood friend said. She loved being a mom. It does make the prosecutions easier. So these all sound like, I don't know, the F-A-Z to Faz last name sounds Middle Eastern, but Diaz and Diaz sound, obviously Hispanic. So Del Rio's city of 35,000 near the Mexican border. Police say they responded Thursday to Valverde Regional Medical Center after receiving reports of women that arrived with multiple stab wounds from assault at a busy intersection. This wasn't something that happened in a back alley. This happened at the corner near Sonic at one of our busiest roads. They told K95 News. Let's see. It's actually like a story. Okay, so this is actually, I might want to play this. Let me see. They're actually gonna have a video of this? No. All right, so I'll get back to this in 1 second. We'll finish reading, but let's see what the let me do this. Let me share this tab and press play here. Let's see.
June 15th to the 21st is Men's Health Week. This is a time to focus on the health and well-being of men in our community. Men's health is shaped by relationships, partnerships, families, caregivers, friends, and communities at every stage of life. When men are supported with connection, education, and
We begin tonight with the death of a Del Rio mother whose friends say her kindness touched everyone she met. 32-year-old Caroline Peña, known to loved ones as Caro, died last night after police said she was stabbed multiple times.
And police say it happened in the middle of the day on one of the busiest roads in town. And tonight, these three women are in jail for her murder. Arlisa Nieves has the story.
Caro Peña's friends say she was impossible to forget.
She was everybody's bubbly person. You know, she just had this infectious laugh.
Zelina Ochoa says she and Caro met as teen moms, learning motherhood and life side by side.
She was one of those people that she was born to be a mom. So she really loved to be a mom.
Caro was 32 years old, a twin and a mother of 5. Her friends say she was the kind of person who could turn your day around and the kind who showed up when others didn't.
If you needed something and she had it, even if it was her last, she was going to give it to you.
Her best friend, Cristina Salinas, says the two were inseparable. They had just hung out Wednesday night. Yesterday, Cristina says she missed a call from Caro shortly before the confrontation.
I feel like if I would have answered that call, honestly, I would have been there with her, honestly.
Del Rio police say officers were called to the Valverde Regional Medical Center around 2 Thursday afternoon after Caro arrived with multiple stab wounds. Police say the assault happened on East 10th Street.
They stabbed her twice on her back, which one of the stab wounds ended up puncturing her lungs, and that's what was the fatal cause. And the third stab wound was, on the side of her stomach right here.
Friends say images and videos appeared online showing Caro wounded, something that has only deepened their pain. Those images have since been taken down.
That girl, she's a fighter, man. She was still standing her ground.
Because of the severity of her injuries, Caro was flown to San Antonio for emergency treatment. By 9 p.m., police say Caro had died.
It's like a part of me got ripped out, and that's something that I'm not going to get back.
One arrested.
Investigators say surveillance video, evidence, and witness interviews led them to the 3 suspects. 2 sisters, Kitty Mia Diaz and Amaya Cookie Diaz, were arrested around 4 p.m. Police say Keandra Renee Faz was arrested a short time later. Ken's 5 obtained video showing Del Rio police escorting the sisters out of a home in handcuffs. Tonight, police have not released a motive. Additional charges could be on the way.
Only one of them had a son. You know, his mom got taken away, but he can still see her. Her kids are left with a memory. They're left with eventually a tombstone.
Alisa Nieves, Ken's 5.
June 15th to the 21st is Men's Health Week. This is a time to focus on the health and well-being of men in our community. Men's health is shaped by relationships, partnerships, families, caregivers, friends, and communities at every stage of life. When men are supported with connection, education, and help, they seek care, stay engaged, and live healthier, longer lives.
Oh, where is
this Men's Health Week?
Sorry about that. So. Wow. So, because of the severity of her injuries, a woman was taken to San Antonio Medical Center. Sorry. Well, at least the police didn't shoot the dog. Yeah. Sorry. Jim, how about you start marrying people here, a new income stream? Oof, maybe. I like Mazda. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah. We'll see. I don't think so. So, stabbed twice in the back. These people, like their lives are over. Detectives reviewed surveillance video. Another friend told the outlet she missed a call from Peña shortly before the stabbing. I feel like if I would have answered that call, I would have been there with her. It wouldn't have gotten like that. Amaya Diaz was arrested. The girl, she was a fighter. She was still standing her ground. What? All 3 suspects were booked at the Del Rio Police Department for being transported to Geo Correctional Facility. An investigation remains active. Police say additional charges could be filed. Peña survived by her 5 children, a 17-year-old son and a twin sister. Wow. If you needed something, she'd give it to you. Wow. So this is crazy, man. It's crazy. Good to see them go away. Yeah, I mean, it's just they're evil people, man. They'll probably be out. In like, We'll have to watch. We'll have to pay attention to that case to see if they get more than 35 years. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? She'll be eating some old lady. Oh yeah, there'll be a Argentine soccer player family perishes in Venezuela earthquakes. Wife and children found dead after 74-hour search. Wow, this is brutal. Argentine soccer player received devastating news following the twin earthquakes. His wife, and 2 children were found dead. Oh, fuck, man. 7.1, 7.4 quake. Minutes later, another one, 7.5. Tortotero, a soccer player, wrote in Spanish, will inform all the people of Venezuela and Argentina that the bodies of Lucas and Trejo's family have been found lifeless. Wow. Trejo's club, the Venezuelan side club, Martimina, also confirmed the deaths in a statement. Wow. Former Major League Soccer baseball player Gorkis Hernandez, who was an outfielder most notably with the San Francisco Giants, lost his wife, who died at the Hotel Edward in La Guardia collapse. The couple had been only married 6 months. Holy shit, man. Wow. There's a lot of people died, I think. A lot of bad stuff. A lot of bad stuff. Wow. Pray for all the people in Venezuela. I hope they can rebuild and come back stronger. And that's brutal. So Jacob Frey praises smelly community as Minnesota faced renewed scrutiny over the fraud investigations. Yes. Hold on. So Jacob Frey, man. So here he is. There's the Freysteimer Heimer Mimer.
Through the most difficult of times and through Operation Metro Surge, we all saw that they tried to come for some of us. And when that happens, we say that you're coming for all of us. In Minneapolis, we love our neighbors. In Minneapolis, we do not see you as immigrants. We see you as our family. You're our brothers. You are our sisters. You have done so much for this incredible city, and for that, we stand with you.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? So Jacob Frey told members of the Smelly community that they are our family and pledged solidarity with them. Stop. So Frey's remarks came as Minnesota continues to face scrutiny over the high-profile fraud cases. Though most of the difficult times throughout Operation Metro Surge, we saw that we all come together for all of us. Yes, I think I'm going to puke. I think I just did a little bit in my mouth. So, scumbag. Minneapolis, we love our neighbors. We love our brothers, our sisters. You have us all. You're all with us. Yes. So Frey appeared to reference Metro Surge. He appeared to. No, he directly did. That gay man would be wowed ahead in 15 minutes, arriving in a place he loves so much. Oh yes, definitely. Some folks will do anything to be elected. Yeah. Blue State's anti-ICE pledge collapses as GOP warns of new sanctuary confederacy. Oof. I might want to see this one. Let me do that one. So, Frey shared Happy Somali Independence Day. Here in minutes. Why don't they go home? Their kindness is suicidal. It is. Go home. Go home. What's to say? Just sit right back in your hair. A tale of a faithful trip. that started in this traffic port aboard this tiny ship. The mate was a mighty sailing man, the skipper brave and sure. I don't know. This clown. Look at this fucking retard. The committee said more than 110 people in charge in connection with various fraud schemes. That's right. The report also alleged concerns about potential racial discrimination claims contributed to delays in addressing suspected fraud. Lost roughly $300 million stolen because they said, we're going to say you're racist. And then they took money from blue states anti-ICE pledge collapses as GOP warns of new sanctuary confederacy. Garrett Polis signed a bill creating a carve-out after attorneys said the state was co-opting them into sanctuary policies. That's right. DOJ sues Colorado and the city of Denver.
The DOJ suing Blue State Colorado and the city of Denver and its Democratic leaders over its sanctuary city policies. It accuses them of laws designed to interfere with federal immigration enforcement. The suit specifically mentions the now famous apartment complex in Aurora, which was taken over last year by the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. John Fabricator, and I know I said that wrong, so you can correct me there, is the former ICE field officer, office director in Denver, Colorado. The state known as the gang's control center. He now joins us. John, how do I say your last name?
It's Fabricatori. You made a great attempt, Joey. I appreciate it.
It's hard to shake this
man.
accent,
Colorado is a sanctuary state, 100%. It's been a sanctuary state. This new law, the Senate Bill 25-276, just codifies that even more and puts us, further in the hole with sanctuary. And I'm glad that the Trump administration is going to come in and do something about it.
So, the governor, Jared Polis, says Colorado is not a sanctuary state and that's just not true. It seems like this lawsuit is, at least what they're alleging, is pretty tight. I guess it's just up to a court to decide how much a responsibility a state has in either enforcing federal law or how much liability they have in blocking federal law, because that's essentially what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Governor Jared Polis has been saying this forever, that it's not a sanctuary state, and he's just wrong about it. There's multiple laws that the legislature here, it's a supermajority of Democrats, have passed since 2013. And what this law doesn't even allow probation to get in contact with ICE. Probation, where people illegal aliens have already been convicted and they're letting them out on the street. These probation officers cannot contact ICE. It also levies a $50,000 fine on officers if they contact ICE and let ICE know about a criminal illegal alien.
Yeah, that fine is outrageous to me, especially if some of these people are known to be really bad. I mean, we're talking about murderers and rapists that we're dealing with. Think about Lake and Riley and all the others that we've gotten to know their story over the last year or two that are recent, not to mention this is a decades-long problem. Denver Mayor Mike Johnston responded to this lawsuit, and this is what he had the audacity to say. He said, Denver will not be bullied or blackmailed, least of all by an administration that has little regard for the law and even less for the truth. We follow all laws, local, state, and federal, and stand ready to defend our values. I understand that there's legislation in Colorado that this lawsuit is looking at. What is Denver doing specifically that the lawsuit looks at?
Well, one of the things that Denver's, doing is they continue to push back against ICE continuously. And in this new legislature that they're pushing forward, they're going to actually keep officers from even notifying ICE about 1325 and 1326 cases, which are misdemeanor and felony cases under immigration law. So, for the state to say that they're not pushing back against this, they are obstructing federal law enforcement. They've done it since 2013. I think the Trump administration is going to have a really good case on this because they're going to be able to show actual cases where Denver has let criminal illegal aliens out of jail, and those aliens have continued to commit crimes and even kill people.
Yeah, I think for most people, I know Colorado is going through it when it comes to politics, but I think for most people, this has to be common sense. John, thanks for joining us, and thanks for bringing your expertise.
Awesome. Okay, so Colorado's reversed controversial requirements that required attorneys to use the state's e-file system to certify they would not use court information to assist federal immigration officers. The verification requirement was removed from state law last week after Colorado's governor signed a bill creating a carve-out for attorneys. Multiple attorneys spoke out in April after the e-file system required them to certify they would not share personal information with the federal government. Can't do that. Yep. Colorado Springs attorney said Colorado appeared to be unlawfully co-opting private attorneys across the state to further its anti-federal sanctuary policies, while noting he doesn't practice criminal or immigration law, but couldn't sign into the state system without saluting the resistance. What's it say? School. This is about Dem Paulus backs Trump's school choice plan. I don't know. So, House Judiciary Committee took note on the matter and said that they're wrongly commandeering private attorneys into Colorado's radical sanctuary policies. Is aiding and abetting criminal activity illegal? Yes, it is. It is. There is laws like if something. That's the thing I don't understand. Like they need to start, but I don't know. Maybe we're at a point where we've got too much scumbags in the country that would never get a conviction anyway. Where they're gonna, if you started charging people with the murders and stuff, they could be held responsible for the felonies. I think it's like misprison of a felony or something like that it's called. So letting it happen, they're allowing these crimes to happen. Like people should be able to start suing like that. I think that's what needs to happen is like somebody who's been harmed by an illegal alien starts suing the state and saying, no, fuck you. Your sanctuary policies caused me my car to be smashed into, my house to be robbed by illegals. You're causing this. That's what's going to have to start happening. It's going to take money. People with money, like somebody, I don't know, maybe Elon Musk could start funding lawsuits to sue these. I don't know, something. It's hard. It's sad that you have to rely on this guy, like basically to fund all this stuff. But what else is going to happen? Colorado's going to FAFO. I would hope so. Tom McClintock said he's pleased to see Colorado reverse itself. He called this latest example that of a notion that any state can obstruct federal laws they want. I think they crossed the line into obstruction by forbidding attorneys access to the court system without this outrageous pledge. Obviously, the state recognized what tenuous ground they've staked out and reversed themselves. But I remain concerned over what other sanctuary jurisdictions that compromise this confederacy may take in the future. Well, we saw it was just the Denver airport that they said, like the Denver City Council said, we don't want this airline to have a terminal at Denver Airport because they work with ICE. I mean, these people, this is basically like they're in open revolt against the federal government. They need to be treated as insurrectionists, seditionists. That's what needs to happen. So Colorado made the right move, removing the requirement. Spear added that the state may be able to tell its own public lawyers what to say to ICE. As a private attorney, work for my clients, not the government. Yeah. Senior attorney said in a statement, the government by law cannot condition attorneys' access on a promise to not use the information for a lawful purpose the state disfavors. Kudos to Colorado legislatures and the governor for acting quickly to resolve the issue. Well, laws restricting speech must be viewpoint neutral under the First Amendment, but critics argue that by forcing attorneys not to speak to ICE, they're putting their thumb on the partisan scale. So the panel of lawmakers who are just going to write letters and not do shit anyway said that resisting and in many cases obstructing federal law enforcement, citing the supremacy clause that immigration falls under. This is particularly important in regions such as mine where local sheriffs very much want to cooperate with ICE. I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't know, man. This is like, it just keeps going and going. And then here's another thing. This is New Mexico AG launches a criminal investigation into the DEA over allegations to let fentanyl flood the state. Mm-hmm. We talked about this story the other day. The Biden DEA told them just let them bring in fentanyl.
So an alarming new study reveals the extent of the fentanyl crisis in New Mexico during the Biden administration. Here's the headline from this AP investigation. Quote, staggering amounts of fentanyl hit the streets as the DEA watched and took no action, records show. And the attorney for a DEA whistleblower is saying this about the scope of the issue.
Special Agent Howell saw hundreds of thousands of pills in cases that he was aware of either that he worked on directly or that he had firsthand knowledge of in talking to the agents around him. What we've since learned from reporting by the AP is that they've spoken to other agents who've added to that number. So it seems pretty clear the number does exceed 1 million fentanyl pills that were allowed to go free and not seized by the DEA under the Biden administration.
We got the perfect guest to talk all about this. Dr. Mark Siegel is a Fox News senior medical analyst. He's also the author of the upcoming Miracles Among Us. Doctor, great to see you. Oh, it's out. Excuse me.
Great to see you, Bill.
Doctor. So this AP investigation is pretty wild. They went through all sorts of records and communications from the agency, and what they found is that during the Biden administration from 2023 to 2025, the DEA in New Mexico was knowingly let hundreds of thousands of fentanyl pills just hit the streets of New Mexico because they wanted to build stronger prosecutions. And here's what one of the DEA special agents said about it. Quote, they said this to the AP. "We poisoned our community to make cases. Through our own willful blindness, we get to say we don't really know what happened to the drugs, but we 100% got people killed." Your reaction?
Well, first of all, there's one heist of 73,000 pills that were let out into the community. I want to point out to the viewer what they already know, that you, Bill Malou.
Oh, come on. Seriously? Am I going to start having this issue again?
Reported amazingly from the border. You know about all of the seizes and whether this was 100% across the board. The Biden administration had under the Justice Department Office of Professional Responsibility that had a motto: one pill can kill. Well, that's surely true, because the Department of Health in New Mexico says that half of the fentanyl that's floating around is more than 2 milligrams, and 2 milligrams is the amount that can kill. They also say, the health department, that it's becoming more potent. They also say that it's being laced more and more with xylazine, which is a sedative that interferes with your counteracting the fentanyl with the antidote, naloxone or Narcan. So this is a deadly, deadly cocktail. And Albuquerque, as you know, is known as a war zone, Bill, and it's not an accident that the statistics are showing a 21% increase in fentanyl-related overdose deaths in the past year, when nationwide it's down 14%. This is an absolute disgrace. This drug is way too powerful to let it out just to see if you can figure out who's spreading it. That's an old method, cannot be used for fentanyl.
Well, the DEA is pushing back against it. One of their spokespeople put out a statement saying that this AP report is wrong. But some of the numbers are interesting. Call for number 3 here, guys. Another quote from this AP investigation. While overdose deaths nationwide fell 14% last year, government data shows New Mexico tallied a 21% spike. So, doctor, that's quite a coincidence. If fentanyl deaths are falling everywhere else in the country, they're going up in New Mexico at the same time that AP finds DEA is letting all these pills go out on the street.
Of course, and that's why you were stationed there as a great reporter, because that's where it's leaking into the country. These drugs are made in Mexico in tiny labs, in 10-foot labs, and the cartels are flooding New Mexico with it, and it spreads from...
Okay. They're flooding it in, so that's what's happening. Here's a local news story talking about what the state is doing.
Some in New Mexico outraged after an AP investigation revealed hundreds of thousands of fentanyl pills were intentionally let into the state.
Yeah, the federal government says it was intended to help prosecutors build larger cases. Jason McNabb joined us live in the newsroom with those details.
Well, yeah, Doug and Sasha, both Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham and Mayor Tim Keller say the DEA knew the operation could lead to deaths and are now calling for accountability.
It is disgusting that they were using Albuquerque in New Mexico as like collateral damage in, sort of just a high level theory on fentanyl.
Local leaders such as Mayor Tim Keller and Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham calling for accountability following the reveal of the DEA allowing fentanyl into New Mexico's streets in order to catch higher profile distributors. Governor Grisham going as far as asking for an investigation by the state DOJ into federal agents. The DOJ saying they're looking at the next steps.
To put meaningful charges on the people who are truly profiting off of the misery of others, you have to use other investigative techniques. to link.
Alex Ubaez is a former U.S. attorney for the District of New Mexico from May of 2022 to February of last year, during which this practice was taking place. His office oversaw the tactics that federal law enforcement used to build cases. Despite the DEA's practice occurring during his tenure, he maintains that drug overdoses as a whole dropped during that time frame, referring to this CDC data.
So would you say overall you still support the policy and its intent?
My job is always to save lives. Right. And so the question we really should be asking now is whether or not the policies that we're implementing are going to save lives. This is an easy answer. We have the evidence. The CDC data proves it.
Despite this, law enforcement officials across the state are not pleased with the way the tactic was used.
I was really shocked to hear that they would allow something like that to happen.
Jack Jones has been the chief of the Espanola Police Department for only a few weeks, but saw the city's fentanyl problem firsthand for years when he was deputy chief. He believes this DEA policy most likely resulted in deaths in his city.
It would be my humble opinion and expertise that, yes, it had reached several of our communities, and especially Espanola and northern New Mexico.
While he supports a state investigation, he also believes more needs to be done at the state level to stop the flow of fentanyl.
You know, the feds are working high, consequence. The people bringing drugs into the state of New Mexico, and local law enforcement needs to be working those areas that they have control over, that they can go after the local drug dealers.
Now, First Assistant U.S. Attorney Ryan Ellison is out of town, so he could not comment. But a spokesperson said in a statement that the DEA is requesting an independent review of their own actions. Jason McNabb, KOAT Action 7 News.
Yeah. And then this is another one. Just another quick thing here. This is New Mexico Attorney General announces investigation at DEA. I don't know where this is going to go because I'm pretty sure that they can't. They were, as long as they were doing it, they weren't like stealing or making money or whatever. Like if they were doing it by orders of higher ups, it's the feds. It's just like the same thing that happened to the, like it can't prosecute federal officers doing their job. Like do stuff. I guess.
After a request from Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, Attorney General Raul Torres has announced the NMDOJ will be opening a formal investigation into the allegations that the DEA knowingly allowed fentanyl pills to be distributed into New Mexico communities. An Associated Press investigation revealed that DEA agents allowed large shipments of fentanyl within New Mexico instead of seizing the deadly drugs in an effort to build cases against higher-ranked members of the drug trade. After reviewing the allegations, Attorney General Raul Torres says, quote, "This office will pursue every legal avenue available to hold the responsible parties accountable and make certain this never happens again." But the AG also cites federal law, saying it does create significant legal barriers that must be carefully evaluated.
Definitely. So I don't think it's going to go anywhere. It's a problem with them. So Trump puts incoming D.C. Mayor Janice Lewis George on notice, says he will meet with her, but never let D.C. be destroyed by a communist. Yeah, it was it's another Fast and Furious. Exactly. But instead of letting guns go into Mexico, they were letting drugs come into the U.S. It's the same exact thing. The same fucking people probably that did Fast and Furious under Obama were doing this shit under Biden. So Trump announced that he will meet with the demon rat communist, but he says that he's not going to let his progress in making DC safe and beautiful be destroyed by a communist. So Janice, a communist who's almost certainly going to be elected mayor, opposes ICE, wants to let all sanctuary for all, let them all in free, do all this stuff, She has stated that she wants to empty the prisons, oppose ICE, welcome criminal illegals into our beloved capital, resist anti-crime crackdowns, defund the police, expand cashless bail, and many other capital-destroying things. In the end, it'll never work out, and it'll never have a chance because I worked too hard to make DC the envy of the world. Wow. Yeah. So Trump threatened earlier this month to invoke the DC Home Rule Act again if she won the race. Asked how he would feel if a communist won. He said, "I wouldn't like it. Maybe I'll just take Washington back and run it."
It's not about Republicans.
Mr. President, here in Washington, D.C., there's a Democratic primary for mayor. One of the two leading candidates, Janice Lewis-George, is running a Zoran Mandami campaign. It's focused on socialist policies. How would you feel if she emerges victorious in next Tuesday's?
Well, I wouldn't like it, and maybe we'd take back Washington, run it on the federal basis. We won't put up with it. We're not going to lose our businesses. By the way, Washington now is a safe, beautiful place. We had 22 fountains dug that are all working. Not one of them worked for years, 25 years, 40 years, 58 years. The pool didn't work from 1928 it was built. It always leaked because it was done in stone. Now it's done properly. It's not going to leak at all. But this is a beautiful place now. People are coming. Restaurants are thriving. The restaurants are all closed. Nobody wanted. Now you can't get restaurant space. You can't get into it. We have a thriving community. We got rid of the crime. We're 92% down on crime. Think of it. And we're going to be close to 100% pretty soon. You always have some whack job someplace, but we're going to be close to 100%. So Washington is thriving. Memphis is, like the people came in from Memphis, 74% reduction in crime. New Orleans, think of that. 78% reduction in crime. They had the safest Mardi Gras that they've ever had. You know why? Because we sent in people that take care of crime. Chicago should do it. New York should do it. Los Angeles should do it. We'll make them safe places. Thank you very much, everybody.
Wow. So that's what he says about that. And then illegal. University of California, Los Angeles prioritizes illegal aliens for $7,000 immigration activism summer fellowship. According to Campus Reform, the University of California is offering students $7,000 stipend through its Dream Summer Fellowship. DC home rules unconstitutional. Time to take it back. Yeah, I don't see how Congress has the ability to do that without changing the Constitution. The Constitution says DC can be part of no state, can be part of no government. It's run by Congress. It's not supposed to have an independent government for that specific reason, because too much power is accumulated. What they should do is either, bring back, make it this 10 mile by 10 mile square like it was supposed to be, or send all the populated places back to Baltimore, to Maryland. That's where they should be, in Maryland. So the university. So the university describes the fellowship as a program that positions immigrant youths as agents of change within immigrant rights movements. We encourage and prioritize applications for undocumented applicants or for illegal aliens who identify as LGBTQ+, Black, API, or Indigenous, as well as other individuals directly impacted by the government's by immigration. The fellows receive a $7,000 reward. UCLA said the program partners with more than 265 social justice organizations. Wow. Sadly, the woke ideology and DEI is very much entrenched in the universities. Over the summer, fellows engage in and lead social justice efforts. Who's funding that program? Our taxes, your tax dollars in California are funding it. That's a California university from the California university system. So if you live in California, your taxes are paying for it. Discrimination against any group in academia, including against whites, is un-American and prejudiced. One can hope the Justice Department will look at this and that such programs that favor certain ethnic groups or other groups will come to an end. That's what we hope. This is a crazy story that I saw. So, polygamous sect leader convicted of abuse charges after girls found on a trailer on an Arizona highway. This is nuts. A polygamous sect leader already serving a 50-year prison sentence for orchestrating sex involving children was convicted Friday on state child abuse charges after girls were found in an unventilated trailer he was hauling through Arizona. Someone alerted authorities about the trailer in August 2022 after seeing small fingers reaching through gaps in the doors. Police stopped Samuel Bateman's vehicle as he was driving through Flagstaff and found 3 girls inside who were aged 11 to 14. This guy's eyes are very close together. Very close together. What does that mean? I don't know. In a federal case, Bateman was convicted of coercing girls as young as 9 to submit to sex acts with him. This person should be in the wood chipper. I saw a report on that video to arrest. Yes. In a federal case, Bateman was convicted of coercing girls. Yes. in a scheme to kidnap girls from protective custody, story which is the focus of the Netflix series Trust Me, The False Prophet. Oh, yes. He previously claimed to have more than 20 spiritual wives, including 10 girls under the age of 18. I just trusted myself as a driver. I asked God to bless me every time we hopped in that vehicle. He claimed, though the girls had gotten out when they stopped, he said he was as shocked as he could be when he learned that they were still inside when he was pulled over. It's common sense that you don't carry people in a trailer designed for cargo on a hot day with no ventilation. Jurors in the state case weren't supposed to hear about Bateman's conviction in federal court. The judge barred the evidence being introduced. The jury delivered a verdict in about 40 minutes, convicting him of all 3 counts of child abuse. Each count carries a mandatory sentence between 4 and 8 years. The judge's discretion to run them consecutively or concurrently. Federal authorities say Bateman, a self-proclaimed prophet, traveled extensively between Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and Nebraska to build an offshoot network of the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which historically has been based in neighboring communities of Colorado City, Arizona, and Hillsdale, Utah. He and his followers practiced polygamy, a legacy of the early teachings of mainstream Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which abandoned the practice in 1890 and now strictly prohibits it. Bateman was one of the trusted followers of Warren Jeffs, who previously led the sect and is serving a life sentence for sexual assault of children. So there's like a pattern here. Millstone would work too. The influence of the polygamous sect has waned significantly over time in towns where the sect has historically been based. In 2017, a court order placed the towns under supervision, excising the church from their governments and shared police department. About the area has since transformed so quickly that they were released from court order supervision last summer, almost 2 years earlier than expected. Practicing sect members are now believed to account for only a small percentage of the town's population. And we got this story here. That's crazy. Payroll tax fraud scheme operated by illegal immigrant caused more than 38 million in losses. I mean, that case. Oof. Yeah. Those people, that's not good. Not good. Anybody who messes around with kids should have the harshest punishments possible. So, yeah, so we have a payroll tax fraud scheme operated by an illegal alien caused more than 38 million in losses. Wow. An illegal alien from Honduras has been sentenced to 8 years in prison for operating a years-long cash payroll scheme that facilitated the employment of other illegal aliens in the U.S. and caused more than $38 million in lost revenue to the U.S. government. So if it costs $38 million in lost revenue, you're talking about like hundreds of millions of dollars that were paid out, so that's damage to all of us. 8 years? Just 8 years? That seems a little light to me. Along several accomplices, Mario Flores created a series of shell companies and ran an unlicensed check cashing and cash courier service between 2015 and 2022. The company cashed about 89 million in checks from subcontractors and the construction industry, according to the Justice Department. They charge a subcontractor a percentage of the dollar amount of the checks they cash as fees for services. Through the scheme, the construction contractors and subcontractors were paid their workers in cash without withholding and paying required taxes. Flores also filed false tax documents with the IRS in an effort to hide the scheme. Wow. 8 years for $89 million payroll scheme involving illegal aliens. 8 years in prison. We held an illegal alien from Honduras and accountable for a brazen scheme that stole more than $38 million from the American taxpayers. This case exposes how unchecked illegal immigration fuels widespread payroll tax fraud. The sentence sends a strong message. I don't know. It should have been 80 years. It should have been fucking 80 years. According to court documents and statements made in court, They run a shell business, shell company cash $89 million in checks. Flores and his conspirators defrauded workers' compensation insurance by leasing their certificates of insurance to subcontractors and providing false and fraudulent information to the insurers about, among other things, the number of workers covered by the insurance and the amount of workers were paid. Homeland Security is committed to protecting the integrity of our financial system. Flores pled guilty to one count of conspiracy. Not just one count. His co-conspirators were Iris Villafranca, Osman Zapata, Francisco Alvarez, were previously sentenced. Sentences range from 4 to 17 years. If this guy was the ringleader doing this, why did he only get 8? Those other people got so much. That's crazy. Wow, what is happening here? I'm having like issues now. Illegal immigrant from Honduras gets 8 years. This guy. 4 years for this guy, and he ordered to pay $2.5 million in restitution. Well, how's he got this kind of money? The sentence sends a strong message. Yeah. Then we got this story. USA beats Australia 2-0 final. Well, that's awesome. Good night, Regine. Thanks for being here. Judge says Dan Sullivan in Alaska Senate primary can run against Dan Sullivan. Yeah, so a state judge said, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine to cause this mass confusion and all these issues. So earlier this month, Alaska's Division of Elections disqualified candidate challenger Dan J. Sullivan from appearing on a primary. However, Superior Court Judge Thomas Matthews overturned it, ruling that the state lacks sufficient legal authority to exclude the candidate. In his ruling, the judge found that excluding the challenger on the grounds that his candidacy was not filed in good faith was inconsistent with the law and the division's own regulations. A candidate, retired teacher from a fishing community, filed to run earlier this year. The election decision will appeal the decision. An attorney for the challenger said he's expected his appeal and declined to comment until the Alaska Supreme Court weighs in. The NRSC, along with Senator Sullivan, has argued that the two candidates with the same name could confuse voters. Definitely, that's the whole purpose. It's to confuse voters. Because the Democrats can't win without fucking cheating. So they need to put somebody on the ballot with the same name so to split the vote. Alaska's election system allows top 4 candidates from the primary, regardless of party, to move on to the ranked choice election. The challenger has the same party affiliation. However, the senator has accused the challenger of working with Democrats to cause confusion. Patola, the challenger, has denied the allegations. Despite the denial, metadata from the press release challenging Sullivan's candidacy indicated it had been drafted by Democrat operative Amber Lee, who previously backed Patola. In her original decision to disqualify the challenger, Beecher argued the candidacy was not in good faith. The challenger was recently changed his party, and his social media presence is paper thin. Beecher wrote the candidacy was not filed in order to declare an actual good faith candidacy, but instead filed with the purpose to confuse or mislead and thereby compromise the ballot's fairness and neutrality. The Constitution does not require states to place a sham candidate on a ballot and then attempt to mitigate the damage through design choices. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. It's just ridiculous that they're going to do this to cheat. Like what the fuck, man? You know, this is the type of shit they're doing. A man with the same name is eligible to challenge the senator in August, a judge ruled. Yeah. The ruling overturns the June 15th decision. So let's see. Let's see what CBS says.
And Sullivan's in Alaska's Senate race. 2 Republicans with the same name are running in the August 18th primary. The Dan Sullivan on your left is a 2-term Republican incumbent and ally of President Trump. The Dan Sullivan on your right is a retired teacher who filed his candidacy just 3 days before the deadline. If you thought remembering their different backgrounds was confusing, well, take a look at their campaign logos. Without their middle initials, it's pretty hard to tell which is which. Now Republicans are accusing Democrats of playing a dirty trick on voters, a claim they deny. CBS News election law expert and contributor David Becker is here to talk more about this campaign confusion and quite an interesting race that's shaping up in Alaska. I mean, what are Republicans alleging here, and how are Democrats responding?
So this occasionally comes up, particularly with people with common names, and you'll see someone alleged to be a plant basically from the other party intended to confuse voters when they're filling out their ballot. They might not read it really carefully. They might not look at the middle initials. There is always concern about voter confusion. This is a really tough one for the Alaska Elections Division because on the one hand, they want to minimize voter confusion, very understandably. So you also don't want to disqualify someone just because they happen to have a common name, right?
Something that raises a red flag, though, like, hey, these are the same names. I mean, what do you do?
Clearly it did with the Elections Division because they did bar him from the ballot for now. He may challenge that, and that'll be resolved in the courts. There might be ways to navigate this by putting maybe incumbent next to Senator Sullivan's name. Clearly, the middle initials are going to be key here. But we've seen this in other times, usually in lower profile races, more localized races. But it occasionally comes up, and hopefully the voters will be able to read that ballot really carefully.
Yeah, and I was going to say, this isn't necessarily a low profile race. I mean, this is a seat that Democrats want to flip. So what are their chances here?
Well, I mean, I don't know what the political chances are going to be. Alaska can be a very closely divided state at times. So if there's confusion that affects a few thousand voters, that could affect, and there's not that many voters in Alaska. So we're not going to, you're not going to see millions of voters like we saw in California last week. It's going to be really incumbent upon Senator Sullivan to clearly delineate where he is on the ballot and make sure his voters know who he is. And hopefully the Elections Division will find a way to navigate this.
I want to turn to another state on the West Coast, California, where, of course, voting continues, or I should say counting votes continues there in the Golden State. And that has kind of prompted some unsupported claims of voter fraud.
Oh, fuck you, unsupported claims. Go fuck yourself. So anyway. Well, everybody. It does look like we hit the time. Gaydar, definitely Gaydar. I think they did the same thing with Bob Ferguson. Yeah, they did the same thing. They have a pattern of doing this shit. They do it all the time. So, they do it all the time. Well, listen, I'm going to call it a night. It's a little after midnight. I'm not going to raid out on YouTube. I'm going to raid out on Rumble because the channel that I want to send you guys to that's doing a live stream is called The Scourge of Tyranny. It's this guy, Tim. He's a great guy. He's doing it on YouTube. I'm going to put the link in the YouTube chat and everything to go over there. I can't raid it because he doesn't have enough subscribers. You got to have a certain minimum of subscribers to do raids. But on Rumble, I'm going to raid him over there. But I want to thank everybody who was here. Please remember to hit the like button and please subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want to check out another show that's kind of like this one, a good guy talking about news, politics, and stuff like that, go over there and check it out. His name's Tim. The channel's called Scourge of Tyranny. And like I said, I put the link in the chat if you want to head over there and say hi or whatever. But I want to thank you all for being here. Ask you to come back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time for Jim to tell you the news.